grew like eagle's feathers. So first we hear, and it just matches if the dew is the word, it represents the word, which is spirit. So we see faith comes by hearing and hearing by the word of God. So you have the dew hit, then the feathers grow, or his hair grew as feathers of an eagle. And so we see the faith comes because hair represents faith, right? So we see the faith comes after the dew drops on his back. The hair grows. And so yeah, that's what I get from that part. The dew is God's doctrine. It's God's word, his spirit. It's because his words are spirit.
Amen.
Amen.
And that's why he told Adam, like, he gave him dominion over every fish of the sea, every fowl of the air, every beast of the earth, and told him to go out, subdue it. And he says it in that particular way.
I think
This is Genesis chapter 1, verse 27, I want to say, where it says, hold on, sorry.
you good. I want to find that part in Daniel also so we can read that. It's pretty good.
Basin says distill H5140.
Yeah, so in verse 30, in Daniel 4, verse 32, it says, and they shall drive thee from men, and thy dwelling shall be with the beast of the field. They shall make thee to eat grass as oxen, and 7 times shall pass over thee until thou know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men, and giveth it to whomsoever he will. Verse 33, the same hour the thing was fulfilled upon Nebuchadnezzar, and he was driven from men and did eat grass as oxen. And the grass, it represents the word, chewing the cud. That's the word, you know. Because Jesus is the word. He is the tender herb, right?
Mm-hmm.
And his body was wet with the dew of heaven. So till his hairs were grown like eagle's feathers. Why is it? So this right here is so amazing. Uh, this is just incredible. It's unbelievable just hearing it again. Like, look at the sequence of it. First, he's driven from men. Then he eats the grass as oxen. His body is wet with the dew, and then his hair grows like eagle's feathers, and his nails like bird's claws. And it's all significant when you go back to like when God's telling them about clean and unclean, how they have to chew the cud and divide the hoof. And so that's what makes them clean or unclean if they have those two. But it's just amazing the sequence we see here. This is faith comes by hearing and hearing by the word of God, and him being anointed or immersed in the spirit, you know, receiving basically that baptism from heaven. Being sprinkled with clean water as in Ezekiel 36, and faith growing, and boom, now he's settled in. He's got eagle's claws, like rightly dividing.
So real quick question. Would that driving away from men, would that be like going into the wilderness? The same kind of
I see it that way, bro. Yeah.
Yes, it's a type of set apart, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Being in the world but not of the world, it's a type of set apart. That's why Paul, he didn't go confirm any of these things with anybody in Jerusalem. He went and meditated on these things in the wilderness.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's what I was wondering. I was like, that sounds like.
Yeah. Plus this is revealed in the New Testament. So, go find where it talks about how we are set apart from man or set apart from the world. There's more than one verse that talks about it in the New Testament. Let's go look at a couple of them. So we're not confused. No, nobody knows where one's at. Man.
I will help you, but I'm scrambling. I got to get to work.
No, you're good. You're good.
Can somebody read Colossians 3, 12 to 17? I think it should be in there somewhere.
Colossians 3, what?
12. Start at 12. Make sure you read it before.
Proofread it because he said it could be wrong.
Sounds right. I could be wrong myself though.
What is it?
So it says
what's the address?
Colossians 3:12. He said start there.
Okay, go ahead.
Put on therefore as the elect of God, holy and beloved, bowels of mercies, kindness, humbleness of mind, meekness, long-suffering, forbearing one another, and forgiving one another. If any man have a quarrel against any, even as Christ forgave you, so also do ye.
Yeah, that's close. It's close enough. 1 Peter 2:9 says, but you are a chosen race, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, a people for his own possession, that you may proclaim the excellencies of him who called you out of darkness into marvelous light, right? That's the ESV version. But you see how they're set apart? You see how they're different in 1 Peter 2:9?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. 1 Corinthians 3:16. Do you not know that you are God's temple? Right. Paul says, know you not that ye are the temple? This just happens to be the ESV version. I'm on my iPad. And I don't feel like changing it, but that you're God's temple and that God's spirit dwells in you. Talking about believers. So if God's spirit doesn't dwell in everybody, you're set apart. That's the mark. Makes you different. Anybody got another one? Somebody read Romans 12:2. That just popped in my head. Everybody knows that one. You just probably don't remember the address. But somebody read it. Romans 12:2.
Romans 12:2 says, and be not conformed to this world, but ye be transformed by the renewing of your mind, that ye may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God.
Isn't that what happened to Nebuchadnezzar?
Yes.
Let's say it says, hold on, what verse is that? Or anyway, the verse you're reading right now, right? Be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. And it's funny, he went through a transformation and all we can see is like this punishment, right? Like he got punished. But through this stuff that's happening to him, and this is where people take this and say, see, you got to go through something. That's not what this is teaching you. This is not teaching you you have to go through something. And when you ask someone, what do you mean you got to go through something? They talk about hard times in this world. No. The something he went through was a transformation, but the transformation didn't come in any other way than the way it explains it. He was separated from man. He chewed the cud. He got the dew from heaven. His hair grew as feathers, eagle's feathers, and he got claws as a bird. That claws as a bird is talking about a split hoof. So that's what it's referring to, right? But he was transformed. And then after that transformation, it all of a sudden it says, oh, wow, my sanity came back to me, he says. Somebody go to it. After this happened where he starts talking, all of a sudden he starts honoring God. And everybody thinks that because he was turned into a beast and all these things. The reason he's honoring God is because he humbled himself before God. And he's like, okay, I'm sorry. I look like a vile thing, Lord. I'm sorry. No. That's not what he says. Go back to it. Somebody go to it. Let's see.
It was in Daniel, I know, but I don't remember the chapter.
Daniel 4:34 and 5.
Okay, so Daniel 4:34 says, "And at the end of the days, I, Nebuchadnezzar, lifted up mine eyes."
All right, right there. What do we talk about? Lifted up eyes? When someone lifts up their eyes? What does it mean?
They see Christ.
They acknowledge.
Literally.
They're acknowledging God.
Inside.
Yeah, on the inside, they're acknowledging God. So he lifted up his eyes, and then what?
And mine understanding returned.
And my understanding returned. Returned. His understanding. Anytime it's something like this is happening and you see the word knowledge, understanding, you see these words talking about the Spirit. So his understanding returned. That means he's soberly minded. Understand? He's sober now. And then what else?
And I blessed the Most High, and I praised and honored him that liveth forever, whose dominion is an everlasting dominion, and his kingdom is from generation to generation.
Yeah, said his understanding returned after these things happen. And because people are trying to figure out what's happening, they think that God is, all they see is he got punished and God humbled him. And that's not all that's going on here. Now, in the story of Nebuchadnezzar, in real life, okay, the real guy, he was punished. That's exactly what happened. And he did start picking up ways of animals, and he did act like this, and he did get hair like eagles, like real thick hair. This stuff happened. It's for real. Okay? But God uses these stories, and when a man receives the Spirit, he's unable to open what these stories are representing. You understand? There was always a duality. There was always a dual meaning in these people's lives. Always. It's always been there. This story wasn't just written a week ago or a year ago. It was written down a long time ago. And Jesus knew exactly what he was doing when he was authoring this. He used these people's stories from the very beginning. These people's lives were going to be used as an allegory. Well, yeah, I guess you could say an algorithm, right? But
Yeah, I was about to say that.
I guess you could say that. It's weird, but it's always been true that physically this really did happen to this dude, period. But the way that Jesus made sure it happened just so happens to line up with everything else in the Bible. It lines up with it perfectly. And when people say, no, it don't, it does. It's you that doesn't see it perfectly, but it's there perfectly. We're the ones trying to see this and figure it out. So that when people say, there ain't no extra hidden meaning, yeah, there is. Yeah, there is. You can be mad at me all you want to, but it's there. And there's the only people who find it are the ones who seek it, not the ones who reject it and run away and say it's a lie. No. All you got to do is just keep looking into it, and you'll see it to be true, right? And I ask people all the time, I was like, man, have you sat down and studied the Bible for like 50,000 hours straight, nonstop? Have you done that? Most people say no, they haven't. And then there's going to be some people that say yes, they do. And I go, what did you get out of it? Some people start writing books about what they learned because they did study it for 25, 50,000 hours nonstop. There was never a stop unless they were sleeping. Other than that, they didn't stop. There was no recapping. You just pick up right where you left off. And that's the kind of digging, if you really want to understand, that's the kind of digging you have to do. Or I'm just slow, and that's just what I had to do. I don't know what else to tell you. But that's, if you want to be for sure Or you can ask yourself this, right? You can ask yourself this. Let's say someone comes to descaled, and let's say they haven't really dug, and then now you ask them, hey, would you consider what you used to do digging, or do you consider what you're doing now digging? Which one would you? I don't know, Benny, you still here? Looks like his. Let's see. Yeah, he's still here, but I don't know, I guess he's on the phone or something. But like really, if you were to ask somebody, a lot of people, right, that come to descale, if you were to ask them, say, hey, got a question. Would you consider what you used to do digging? Or do you consider like what you do now, right? Digging. Which one would you consider digging? Now, of course, someone who's trying to be condescending, trying to be a smart butt, they'll say, it's all digging, it's all digging. No. But the descaled person will tell you, no, it's not all digging. No. There's scratching the surface, and then once the surface is like, let's talk about like a hard ground, right? Before you dig, it's all hard. There's no loose nothing. And then you get your fingernail and you scratch the surface, and you can get all the top grains to be loose. Fine. You dug 1 grain deep. But if you go back to those grains and you just scatter them around every day for hours, you're not going any deeper. So, okay, fine. You're not lying. You dug. 1 grain deep you dug. And then you just go back and move that top layer of granulates. You just scatter them around differently every day, and you go, I studied. You're just looking over the same stuff over and over. And then you have somebody that they decide to go 1 grain deeper than that. And honestly, you put them side by side, both grounds, and can't really tell how much deeper the other one went. And then, so you ask them questions, and you're like, okay, well, yeah. You went a little deeper than that. They went 1 grain deep, you went 2 grains deep. You just don't see a whole lot of people going further than 3 to 5 grains deep, man. And they say they all dug. Well, they're not lying, they dug. But I don't know if they just gave up. Like they just, I get, maybe they think they hit rock. That's what I think.
Trout's trying to say they dug the hole, and then there was a hole behind them, and they filled it in. And then they dug the hole again, and they filled it in again as they dug. And they just did it over and over again.
Well, I mean, no, not like that. Just I'm talking about the depth. Let's say you have 1 cubic foot in front of you of ground. Let's say everybody's got 1 cubic foot. That's all you get, okay? And you can dig the hole as deep as you want.
To chain that.
Yeah, if you want to, it's yours. But everybody gets their fingernail and they remove every top grain, and they come back the next day and they just move them grains around. They come back again the next day, and they're not deep at all. But yet, they're not lying, right? Like they dug. I don't care if you say, they 1 grain of sand deep. That's still digging. But what I'm saying is when they get to level 5 grain, if you don't know how thick 5 grains of sand is, I don't know, that might be a millimeter or 2. I don't know. As thick as your fingernail, I don't know. But they think they hit stone right there. They think they hit the foundation of the meaning of whatever it is they were studying. Right? Bedrock. They're like, oh, that's it. Tick, 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 tick. And then they see, descaled down there. And now remember, everybody's next to each other, if you don't understand. Think of a football field. And then I want you to block off, I want you to mark 1 cubic foot. And there's thousands of them, and everybody's in front of their cubic foot. Everybody. But then you look over there where descaled's supposed to be, ain't nobody there. And you're like, they need to go study. You don't see nobody there. That's because they're in the hole. And you're over there playing with your top layer, 1 through 5 layer grains of sand. And then you might find somebody.
Fun fact.
Huh?
I'm sorry, bro. Fun fact for the day. I thought I had found a space in your combo.
Fun fact, though, since you did mention football field, I Googled how many football fields would it take to cover the earth? 95 billion.
Yeah.
That's how big the earth is. I'm like, dang. That's crazy.
95 billion.
95 billion football fields it would take to cover the earth.
Dang. That's a lot.
Or 9.5 times 10 to the 10th power. Or you can just say 95 billion.
95 billion. Jeez. Yeah, Benny, before you hopped on, my question I was asking was this, right? Because we're talking about the way people study, how long they study, what's considered digging, what's not. And of course, if you're digging a hole, and let's say you decide to move 1 grain of sand a day, that's still digging, right? One grain a day is still digging. It's still digging. All right. But what I was asking is, because I was using you as an example, but you weren't here. I was going to say, if someone was to ask you, hey, the way you studied the Bible before you came to descaled, would you consider that digging? Or now are you consider what you're doing digging? Which one would be considered digging?
Oh, yeah, now is.
Right. So if you have people that are like, oh, man, y'all are adding, y'all are doing this, y'all are doing that, and you used to study the way they used to study. And you're like, brother, I used to study that. That's not, again, it's still digging. 1 grain a day is still digging. All right. But at some point, you got to move from your fingernail to a spoon. You know what I mean? And then from that spoon, you got to move to a small shovel, like a trench tool. And then from that point, you got to get at least a regular shovel for God's sakes, you know? But when you get to a backhoe, and you're telling the guy, bro, you using your fingernail, you're not going to get, no, this is how you do it. All right. And you used to do it like that. Like, nah. I was like, brother, you're not going to get to grain 25 in your lifetime.
They pick up each grain of sand trot with 2 literal toothpicks, and then they move it.
Yeah, man.
And then they shuffle it.
Yeah.
And then they move it, and then they shuffle it with the toothpick.
Yeah, with toothpick. Or what do you call it? What's the Chinese sticks? What are the things called again?
Well, chopstick is bigger than a toothpick.
Yeah,
though.
I'm saying some toothpicks and some chopsticks. I mean,
bro, and it's like.
Oh, hold on a second, Jennifer. What? I was told I was going to burn yesterday. Oh God, Jennifer, what'd you say? You said something. What did you say? You weren't just walking around at Walmart and somebody's like, "Hey, you." You must have went into somebody's live to be able.
Depending on where you are, they will say that, I'm sure.
Well, because I said I believe that the Lord, He's still me until the day of redemption. Like, it's a still deal. But people were like, no, you can lose your salvation.
Oh.
Like a set of keys.
Yeah, man. Woof. Man, that's crazy.
I got a call. What I missed?
Do what?
I got a call, man. My bad.
Oh, no, you're good. No, we're just talking about Jennifer was she was having a conversation with someone about basically how she's sealed, right? Like she's redeemed through eternity. It's a done deal. It's hers. She received it through a scratch off. There's nothing you can do about it. It's hers. And they told her because she believes like that, she's going to burn. Bro, people are crazy, bro. Hey, it's funny, bro. It's funny. Don't be mad. Don't be mad at them, though. Just say at some form or fashion, we all used to be there, man. We're all a bit legalistic. We didn't understand, and we thought the way to get someone to believe like us was to use fear. If you don't believe like me, you're burned.
Scared.
Yeah. You tell someone if you don't believe like me, you're going to go to hell. They're going to clench onto you like freaking white on rice and be like, oh, well, let me just walk around with you all day. And that's what they like. They're like, ma. I got another one. That's the law. The law brings people to God. No, bro. The law brings people to you. You got them freaking out about God. They ain't to God. You're bringing them to you. You want to bring someone to God, you set them free. You set the captive free. That's why he came, to set the captives free. And there's people that still think that means that he came to set prisoners free, like people out of prison. Homeboy just,
Well, of course.
unalive a whole family. And he's like, Lord, you came to set the captives free. And they're like, he's going to come set me free. No, bro, he's going to come set you free from your crazy self. That's what he's setting you free from your flesh, my friend, from your flesh, setting you free from the law, from the flesh, from enmity. Trying to make.
You a lie. Jesus gets people out of prison all the time. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I guess it's just the one that prayed harder. Because some of them are still in. Hey, I had this.
You got to be in solitary confinement for your prayers to be heard.
There you go. That's right. There's this guy.
That's in the world.
He I think he went to jail for he went to county. I think he sold or he got caught with first of all, it could send anybody to prison, but it was like 1/10 of a hold on. Am I mixing up people? Hold on a second. No, that's the right guy. 1/10 of a kilo of cocaine. It's called fish scales. Uncut. Literally looks like fish scale. Like if you get some real stuff, it's uncut. That's what it looks like. That's real. If it don't look like fish scales, then you got the baking soda in that bad boy. Hear me? Anyway, so he goes to jail, right? Enough to send him away 5 years. He gonna go. That's Saba TikToks. Hey, he's in there and he's praying his little heart out. You hear me? He's praying his little heart out. And he's in there for 6 months or something. Long story short, he doesn't know what's going on in the courtrooms. He don't know none of that. He's just like, Lord, please, if you get me out of this, if you'd hear the way he talked about what he did, if you get me out of this, I'll serve you forever, making these oaths. So he's in there for 6 months or so. He goes to court and it gets thrown out. All of it gets thrown out. And so he thinks that God threw it out because he said, if you throw this out, I'll serve. It's crazy, man. And people think that this is what happened, that God threw the case out, right? That God did it, that their justice doesn't need to be served because God's no longer a just God. He's a genie. And if you pray, he'll do whatever you want. And this confuses a lot of people. It really does, because there's so many people that get locked up and they mean it from the bottom of their heart. Get me out of this. They all mean it. But now we're just going to say someone prayed better, or maybe they had a lot of people praying. No, what ended up happening with this guy's case is the officer that did this, okay, he used to plant drugs. This guy got caught planting this stuff. So now they didn't know what to believe, so they threw all of them out. And this dude didn't know that. He thought God did it. And I said, I got to tell this dude. I got to tell this dude that that's not what happened, bro. That's not what happened. I said, that's not what happened. I had to go tell him. And I said, hey, and I didn't bring up his case. I brought up, hey, you know a dude named so-and-so? He was like, yeah, I know that dude. He ain't worth a darn. He tried to put me in, prison the rest of my life and all that. I said, yeah. I said, did you hear all of his cases got thrown out? Yeah, I know. No, he said, what do you mean all his case got thrown out? And I brought up a particular case that I know that he knew it got thrown out because it was his friend. And I said, yeah, the case of this, it got thrown out. Oh, yeah, no, I know about that. I said, yeah, all of them got thrown out. And we're talking almost 50, 35, 45, something. They all got thrown out in a matter of a year. And he's like, oh man, well, mine was one of them. I said, you know what happened? And he goes, well, I know what happened with mine. Because he prayed to God, like God's a genie. And the Bible says, whatever you ask in my name, you shall receive. Bro, it's talking about God's will, bro. Whatever you ask in his name, his will, not your will. Not you go hurt a bunch of people and say, hey, look out, genie. Shoo. I ain't trying to get the punishment of that now. Nah, bro, that ain't how that works. But so I told him that, and he's like, oh, well, God works in mysterious ways. No, not. When it says God, when people use the God works in mysterious ways, not that kind of mysterious, what you're talking about. Mysterious, the way he works is it's a way that your carnal mind don't understand. Your carnal mind. If you're telling me you prayed to God and he got you out of jail, then he's a genie. My carnal mind fully understands that. But he's not a genie. So God working in mysterious ways, like when Mary got impregnated by Jesus, that's still a mystery. People don't know how to perfectly explain that. We do through the Spirit, though. It's not hard. But men think that God had relations with Mary. That's the only way. That's the only way. He has to have genitals. Like, no, bro. No, that's not what happened. Overshadowing her is because she allowed God to use her dominion in this world. That's how she chose to use her dominion. But it says that he overshadowed her because she, through faith, put herself under his shadow. The whole Testament talks about this, that he is a refuge, that we are under his shadow, under his wing, right? Under his wing, under his faith. It's God's faith that we use, not our own faith. It's God's faith. So that's the mystery. That's how he works in mysterious ways. That's the mystery. Not this so mysterious that you don't even know how to explain it at all. No. No, we're going to know how to explain some of it, maybe not 100% detail, but it's not that much of a mystery where, you can't just make up everything that's happening, and you can't just make stuff up and say, I was walking and I started with my left and not my right, and see, God honored that because God, he's left-handed. And so I started walking with my left foot and there was a hole in front of me. If I would have started with my right, I would have fell in it. What a mystery, man, dude, what are you talking about? Man, I've heard all kinds of weird stuff. But if you get in the Word, though, the Word will show you. It'll show you what it is saying, how it's saying it. It shows you. You don't gotta be lost. It's crazy. You don't gotta be lost. You're in this world walking around. You don't know what's going on, so it's just all a mystery. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to do it or when to do it. No. But digging up God's Word is when you start understanding what is being said, because once it starts, then you can start going deeper, meaning one story at a time or one truth at a time, and you're moving through the Bible and you're digging deeper and you're understanding that there's so many parables in the entire Bible. And you'll ask yourself, well, how come I didn't see this before? Like, why? What was holding me back from seeing it? The Bible even tells you that. The Bible even tells you that. It's basically telling you that you were the problem. You were the problem. God wasn't the problem. God wasn't stopping you from understanding this. It's just you weren't digging deep enough. You weren't staying consistent in the Word. You weren't. God's not the problem. We are, not him. Right? Adam made that. Adam made that problem. Let's see. There was another verse I was going to bring up regarding. Somebody read Leviticus 20:26. Leviticus 20:26.
Okay, I got it. I guess 2026.
Yeah.
Okay, so it says, "And ye shall be holy unto me, for I, the Lord, am holy, and have served you from other people, that ye should be mine."
Yeah, it says that.
I mean, severed, not served.
Yeah,
but
severed. Severed means separated, right? Right? Severed, separated. So it says,
Yes.
you should be holy to me, for I am the Lord. Oh no, for I, the Lord, am holy and have separated you from the peoples, that you should be mine. There's so many verses in the Bible that talk about him separating us. And this is what you see happening to Nebuchadnezzar, separated. Let me ask you this. If God just wanted to turn Nebuchadnezzar into an animal, does all the details matter then? Does it matter? If that's the goal, is to punish him and turning into an animal? Why didn't it just say, and God turned Nebuchadnezzar into an animal, and he looked like this and looked like that? It was an ugly sight. You should have been there. But it talks about the dew of heaven eating grass, very, very detailed about what it's trying to say, and it correlates with the rest of the Bible, right? So, something just popped in my head. Oh, yeah. What's up? My bad.
So Acts 12 and 5, I know that's one that people bring up a lot when I talk about like prayer. People say that those were the prayers of the people that got Peter out of jail. Would you agree with that, or do you disagree with that?
Yeah, so
just praying for the heck of it.
Yeah, no. So when people bring up, no, Peter got out of jail, bro. Was Peter out there drinking and driving and wrecking his car?
No, I agree. All right, so that argument. He wasn't a criminal. He was actually there unfairly.
Right. So now we can say, right, we can play the game because these people, they want to believe. No, if you're in jail, you pray. They want to believe this crap. It's a bunch of junk. It's so sad that you compare what the heck you did with Peter, for God's sakes. It's so sad, bro, that you're going to compare that you pulled a pew-pew to some poor old lady who works at a convenience store. You pointed it at her, for God's sake. Your dumb butt could have accidentally pulled the trigger. Took the money from her. She got PTSD the rest of her life, but you're going to pray to God to get you out of jail and then use the Bible and say, well, it happened to Peter. Bro, are you serious? No wonder you think what you think. Freaking out of there. You need to take your brain out. I'm gonna take that person's brain out and play baseball with it, for God's sakes. It's crazy.
I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. I think that was the hardest thing about being a youth pastor is when people would, they would come to you and be like, oh, I got a court date. Can you pray for me? I used to be like, nope.
Yeah. Some people will say no. Some people will say no, but like if they ask me, like, can you pray for me? I said, oh, I am gonna pray. I'm gonna pray that the right thing happens. I want to pray the proper outcome comes out of this. That's what I'm going to pray, And then sometimes people's cases would get out, but the person's case got thrown out because the officer was being dumb. So, you cannot just go to someone's car and say, hey man, get out of your car. And you're like, oh, okay. And you get in there and you're like, look what I found. I found a QP of some green leafy substance. Okay, it ain't mine. Yeah, it is. It was in your car. Then it goes to court, and everybody's like, wait a minute, did you even ask if you can search? The whole video shows it. Hey, man, get out of the car. Hey, man, I got to go to work. Get out of the car, bro. Bro, it's getting thrown out. And this guy's going to think, because he prayed to God, God, no, bro, cop didn't do it right, bro. He didn't get consent.
You got to read your Miranda rights, and then you got out.
Yeah, bro. Come on, bro. It's so dumb. It's crazy. This religiosity kills everybody. And then, what do they say? Let me tell you my testimony. Oh, here we go. Let's hear it. Well, one day I was stupid, and I had some green leafy substance. And then what happened? And then the cop came, found it, and God threw it out. Nah, bro. No, the cop didn't ask for consent. He didn't smell nothing. There was nothing burning. He didn't have probable cause. He just said, get out of the car. And like a dummy, you got out. So when he found it, there's no proof that there was consent. He didn't even have probable cause. He just told you, get out of your car. And then you're saying, because you went and prayed, no, bro. No, that's not what happened. No. You could have been an atheist, for God's sakes, and that would have got thrown out. It's crazy what people are doing with the Bible. It's ridiculous.
That's like somebody going under the law in the Old Testament, gets accused of adultery or something, and they stand before the elders and Moses and these guys and like, yeah, man, X, Y, and Z, and then he's like, okay, where are your two witnesses at? Well, I don't have them. Well, then it's thrown out, and she's gonna see, look at that, thank God.
Look at God. Yeah. Hey, come on. So, and then when you say stuff like this, people get offended, and they're like, what? That's what happened to me. No, you've been lied to. You lied. we're talking about very specific incidents here. And I understand that you want it to be that you were special and God, you did something so dumb. You should have went to jail for a long time. But God let you slide because you're his favorite. You're his peculiar people. You're his royal priesthood. And he kept you from jail. What? Come on, bro. It's such a sissy way out. These are the same people that say, the tribulation, he's not going to let us go through it. Oh, right. Just like he didn't let you go through jail because, oh, it's so hard. My Lord, have mercy. There's people that go and come every day, man. Get out of here. War's hard. Jail's hard. People go and come out of it all the time. And they use this to make themselves believe whether you're going to be here through the tribulation or not. That's what they use, stuff like this. No, prison was hard. It would have been so hard. And see, that's how I know that we're not going to be here during the tribulation. Oh, man. Yeah.
And you know what's funny, Trap? These are the same people that believe that Peter was hung upside down and crucified upside down. These are the same people that believe that all the apostles were either beheaded or went through a hard time, all these things. But it's like, why would, if your theory is correct and you're not going to go through a hard time, why would the apostles go through a hard time? Like, you already see that people go through a hard time. That's not the indicator of all truth.
Yeah, no, it's not. I'm sorry, man. I'm trying to get this. I don't know why I can't get this today, man. Oh, I see the problem. Ew. I don't.
Hey, did you download the software on the MacBook or what?
The MacBook. I don't get it till Friday.
Oh, I thought you had it already. Okay.
Today
is Friday. You know that, right?
Huh?
Today's Friday.
Do it now?
Today's Friday.
Oh, yeah, today is... Well, I get it today then. My bad. Sorry. You're right. I haven't gotten it yet. Oh, matter of fact, let me go look outside. Hold up.
He's like a little kid, bro. This is going to be his first MacBook, guys. So I can't wait to see how he messes this up, CJ. This is going to be amazing. Phone calls will be made. He will be calling you, CJ, and he will be calling me nonstop.
Oh, jeez. Like, hey, how do I
turn this thing on, bro? I don't see where the power button is, bro.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, mine's completely black, so if you didn't know where the power button was.
He's going to say, where's the power?
The fingerprint to unlock it.
He's going to say, CJ, he's going to say, where's the cup holder, bro? Like, what are you talking about? He's like, that thing you push on the side and it comes out and you put your cup on there? Oh, the CD-ROM? We don't use those no more, man. What are you talking about? That's not a cup holder, dum-dum.
That's funny. We don't know what Connie got yet. I don't think. Dre,
you got a MacBook Air.
Oh.
M2 chip. It's a good one.
Yeah, those are pretty good.
Yeah, those are, yeah. I mean, I got a 2017 MacBook Pro and it still runs perfectly fine. So the M2 chip is going to be amazing.
Right.
I still run a quad-core i7.
I don't remember what my
No, it's not here yet. Let me look. Hold on. I know I got an email. Hold on a second.
Delayed.
It's going to say, due to the heavy storm in Texas, the little flurry that they had, due to the weather conditions, all deliveries have been delayed.
2 weeks. Like, what?
Man, what the heck? Oh, shoot. My bad. I didn't know it was going to go.
Now he's crying about it.
Yeah, it said it'll be here between 4 and 6. So.
Yeah, so that's tomorrow.
That's tomorrow?
In your neighborhood.
In my neighborhood is tomorrow? What are you talking about, dude?
Yeah, remember all your packages be like late? They never come on time.
Oh yeah, my bad. You're right. Yeah, like no, not all. Like half, bro. Half, for real. Like it'll tell you this is the day. Now you know how you do like overnight or like next day with Prime.
Mm-hmm.
Now that's 90% accurate. Like that's, bro, 1 out of 10. Matter of fact, 1 out of 30 might not be here the next day. So that's the only one that's. All the rest of them, bro, they'll be like, oh, like, Dre, remember I told you I was going to order some more of these cups right here? Dre? Oh, you ain't there.
Wait, my bad. Yeah, what happened?
No, remember I told you I ordered some more of these cups?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I looked, and it said that these cups, they said these, because I sent an email and said, why does it take so long for your cups to get to me? And they didn't respond with that. They just said, oh, well, this shipment, it'll be there by February 14th. And isn't that Valentine's Day?
Yep.
Okay, so that should be easy to remember. So
That's 2 weeks, though. That's a long time. That's 2 weeks.
Yeah, that is a long time, but it don't matter. The other ones were taking like 4 to 6 weeks, bro. So this guy or whoever sent me an email said it was
they're in California.
no, bro, they got to be in another country. I need to find out. I still ain't looked. I'm gonna find out where they're at.
What is it called again? The cup company? What is it called?
It's called the Cup Store.
All right, let me look it up right now.
Yeah, that's killing me, man.
Hey, for all you Palestinian sympathizers, y'all better stand by. Y'all about to get deported.
Well, I'm telling you, there is a war at hand. If you ain't seeing it, I don't know what else to tell you. It will be considered the second. I don't want to use that word, but
The Exodus.
nah, he said the Exodus. No.
Hey,
No.
I was talking to a staunch Hamas supporter early this morning.
Yeah.
And I told him, I said, hey, bro, you about to be getting out of here, bro. They're about to get you. I seen you online with a Hamas hat on. He said, what did he say? He said, wallahi, I hope they send me. I've been waiting for them to deport me. Like, yo.
Yeah.
I said, why won't you just get on a plane and go?
He's
like,
lying.
I can't.
He's lying. He's lying. Just go through Mexico, bro. Not hard. Go through Mexico. Not hard. Go over for the cartels for about 6 months. You have all the money you need. Go back home. Okay. Go through Mexico.
He was born here.
Okay, it don't matter. He can still go over there if he wants to. He can go.
Oh yeah, I told him that. I said you can go.
He can go.
Hey,
So
bro,
let me tell you when they
in New York,
listen, when the Blues allowed cities to be taken over by people, bro. Y'all remember that?
Yeah.
Okay. When they allowed that to happen and they said, oh no, that's not a protest. Oh no, there was nothing wrong. Freaking the lady's like, and you know, these people, they just want food to eat. Freaking fires, buildings on fire behind her, bro. People had done lost their mind. When all that started happening, and then they put the J6ers in jail and said, oh, these people are doing this and doing that. So now they started, I'm telling you, it is, bro. They started this very awkward war. And it's crazy. I don't know why they pushed to do this, but it's what it is. And so you're just going to see, the people that hated the Juliet Echo whiskeys. Huh? You hear me?
Oh, I hear you. I hear you.
Yeah. So the people that really don't like them and they're coming against all these things. It's very weird that you're even coming against these things. There's going to be certain things that are coming against now. Like you should have never have used the federal GOV. You should have never have used that to put people in jail. Like you shouldn't have done that. Like the way they did it. And it's funny. I don't know if blue people. I don't know if they don't see that or what, bro. Like or they just are going along with it because they like the idea of it. I'm not sure which
Their
one is.
understandings are dark and trap.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, you're really trying to act like you don't understand what's been going on for the past few years, bro. Oh man, that's crazy. So, I know people don't see the chess game. They're kind of compartmentalizing every little thing that's happening, and they're missing the entirety of what's going on. So you think it's a coincidence that orange crazy hair guy? You think it's a coincidence that this dude, like what you just brought up, Dre, bro? You think that's a coincidence, bro? Come on. No, there's more ways to go to Whiskey Alpha Romeo. There's more ways to do that.
Hey,
it's not all about pews. It's not all about pews, man. What?
I said even the statement that he made, where he said, some of you guys are so bad, you're illegals, you're in here, and you're so bad that your own countries won't hold you. I got something for you. We got 30,000 beds in Guantanamo.
Yeah.
Bro, if I was one of these guys, I'd be on the first thing smoking.
I'll be gone.
I came from.
I'll be gone. I'll be like, hey, you know what? I heard you loud and clear. You ain't got to put me there. Hey, look out, Mom. Nope. I'm coming home. I mean, that's it. That's it. Hey.
Guantanamo is not, you do not want to go there.
No.
Bro. I'm telling you, no.
No.
No, absolutely not.
You won't go there. No. Bro, you're hey, when you get there, I'm telling you, bro, I know a couple of people that told me that the song you're gonna hear as soon as you get there, whole new world. That's that they play it, bro. Loud and clear. Loud and clear.
Bro, they got that place open, and I think they only have 15 people in there right now.
Oh yeah,
I think 15.
To be honest with you, I'm gonna say a dozen. I'm gonna say there's a dozen in there, bro.
Yeah,
there's a dozen. So if you don't know why, like
counted.
Hey, let me ask you this, Dre. See if you can find out. Hey, see if you can find out how long those dozen of people have been in there by themselves. How long has it been like that?
I'll look it up.
Yeah, go look it up. Oh man. Woo, hey, got me some more Black Rifle coffee. Woo, Bubba. I should have had some when y'all are here, man. I messed it up on that one. Yeah, it's all right. Y'all had to deal with my Walmart coffee. Walmart coffee is not bad. It is a little bitter because I think they've been in those little K-pots for like 6 months or a year. So they're kind of stale. That makes
those toasts was hitting, man. They were pretty good.
No, they're not bad. They're not bad, but the Black Rifle coffee are a little bit better, bro. Like you could tell. I don't know how to explain it. You know what? Maybe there's more caffeine, and maybe I'm addicted. Maybe that's it. I'm just addicted to coffee.
2006, bro. 2006.
Okay, 2006. What?
What do you mean, like the month?
No. What are you saying? What about 2006?
They've been held. The people that are remaining have been held there since 2006.
No.
These are.
Hold on. I'm not. All right. First of all, maybe I'm not saying this right. I know they've been there since 2006. I want to know how long only about a dozen people, like how long has that place been deserted with just a dozen people? Not how long
They've been since 2006, 2008 is the remaining people that have been there since that long.
Bro, that's a long time, bro. which means they've had a lot of people stay overnight, if you know what I mean.
Bro, look what Jordan said, bro.
What? The first disciples. Hey, I tell you what, if Jesus would have broke into America, that's where he'd be. He'd be on a deserted island like that, like John was. That's what they put him. The world is the world. The world is the world, bro. That's what they would have put. Jesus would have been in Guantanamo Bay. Like, it is what it is. Jesus is not, he's not king. He's not king of this world. John was a disciple of the Most High, bro. And they put him on an island, bro. Nobody even knew that he was a diamond in the rough, and they didn't even know it.
Hey, how much you said you, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, you're good.
I'm doing two things at once. I'm looking at this company called Discount Mugs. They're doing paper mugs just like the one that you have. They only do 16 ounce though, but you pay, if you order 1,000 of them, they're 59 cents each.
Yeah, no, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it offline. Just take notes. We'll talk about it offline because I don't remember all the specifics. I'm gonna have to go in the little what's that not itinerary, the packing list or whatever the thing is.
Yeah. All right. Hold on, my wife's calling me. I'll be on.
No, go ahead. Himalaya, what's up? Let's see. Yeah, no, it's crazy. 100% crazy. Let's see. Yeah, so I think what I heard right when I was coming on, Jennifer's not here. Well, she was here. I think it was Jennifer and Benny was talking about y'all were going to go over some of the questions that, like what y'all were listening to. Y'all were going to go over some of the questions. Matter of fact, let's go over a couple of them. Oh, no, I know what I was going to say. Christian asked me a question a few days ago, and he was wanting to know, like, you know, if you're looking at Barak going to Deborah and Deborah sitting under the palm tree of Deborah, like, how do you see that as God? Well, first of all, that's not the only thing I'm using. I'm using the entire Bible to understand what Deborah is sitting on. So let's go look at some palm trees so it kind of help out so we can see the parable of the palm trees, because if you didn't know that parable was there, it is there, okay? The Bible should not have to tell you that something is a parable. You should already know that. So let's go look at this and see how coincidental everything just so happens to be. All right. Let's see. I need to start doing blue letter again. I don't know. It's weird. I'll want to use the paper book and then I'll go to blue letter for several months. And then I'll go back to the book. I don't understand. I think what it is I get tired of taking so long to find something. So I'm like, man, let me go back to blue letter. And I'll go to blue letter. And then blue letter causes me to go too fast. Like, it hinders me. Like, because you have to go slow. And it took me a minute to figure that out. But you got to slow down. And blue letter hurts you more than it helps. Because you can find so many words at one time. But now you're not meditating on the first one because you're already at word 12. You're on word 27, and the first one, you didn't even meditate. You just quickly got like a understanding or like a definition, and then there you go, and you're not meditating on nothing. And I've seen people do that, and I'm like, oh, okay, you're doing what I used to do. I thought, you know, if I got on blue letter, I could, and it just took me a minute. I'm like, okay. So what I did is I got me a paper book, and it forced me to slow down. I don't care how fast you think you can flip those pages. While you're doing it, you're meditating over what you're looking up. I'm telling you, it actually helps. So I used all the methods, and yeah, there's some times that I would, you know, go back to blue letter, but it causes you to go fast. You know, it brings you back to the microwave world. Right? Let's see.
Bro, blue letter is lit.
Huh?
I like blue letter a lot.
Oh, dude, you're like a kid in a candy store in that bad boy. You hear me?
Oh yeah,
man. Yeah, it's just
you can take notes on it, on highlighted sections, and don't get me wrong. I do think you should write the stuff you find down, because I think that writing it down helps it cement in your mind.
Let me say, hold on. I'm glad you said that, because everything that I studied in those 5 years, 90% of it, I wrote it down. I forced myself not to just use a paperback book, but I wrote it down right after I studied it. And 90% of it, dude, I wrote it down. You know, I had a dude come up to me one time. We were talking about Noah. He asked me a question about Noah, and he was like, hey, what were you saying the other day about Noah? And I couldn't remember what I was telling. I was like, I don't know, man. It could have been this. He was like, anyway, it had something to do with the sixth day and the sixth. I was like, oh, yeah, that. And so I'm telling him. And he's like, hey, bro, are you writing this stuff down? I'll never forget when he said that. And I said, what do you mean? He said, bro, you know, like, write it down. And I said, oh, well, I've been writing a lot of it down. He's like, no, write all of it down. And I was like, okay, yeah, you know what? You might be right about that. And I started writing even more of it down. But it was funny the way he said, hey, man, are you writing this stuff down? I mean, it was kind of like, wait a minute. Yeah, at that point, I think I was only writing down 25, maybe 30%. And when he said that, I was like, you know what? I'm going to write all of it down. And I wrote all of it down, and I still have maybe 90% of what I wrote down. Like, I still got a lot of it. Anyway, all right, my bad. My bad.
Yeah, no, I mean, you're right. Himalaya.
What'd she say?
I have been thinking about that too. She said, I started writing everything down since my son was born, for him when I die.
Such an Asian thing to say. That's such an Asian thing to say.
But I do think about that. You know, I think about, like, you know, and me writing it down, like, you know, you and I have discussed the Chronicles thing and doing the names and all that, but like, I'm writing that down, and I'm not just writing it down, I'm leaving like little footnotes too, because I could be like, oh, you know, if somebody were to read this, they're gonna be like, okay, this, and this, but what does that mean? And then I like write little footnotes like, look here, look at this, look at that, kind of stuff. I don't know. Maybe I'm just weird.
Yeah, no.
And I know Patron's gonna say I am.
No. It's okay. It's cool.
Yeah, I did it thinking that, like, in 30 or when the world gets destroyed and then rebuild, you know, they'd find my notes and they'd
It's like they'll rebuild off my notes, bro.
Yeah.
There will be no
They go off society
denomination of
based
the
off my notes.
Catholics. Saint CJ, the first pope.
Himalaya said, she said, yes, spiritual Asian saved mom. Spiritual Asian. All right, so let's go to, let's just do it this way. All right, so we're going to use the whole Bible, the whole thing, and we're just going to look at, and let me tell you where someone makes a mistake. Like, they'll make a mistake by, like, for instance, I'm at Palm, okay, because that's where you're going to see a lot of palm trees, right? In the Strongs. And they think you just go in there and just read all the palm trees. No, bro, there's no context there. You just don't go find where all the palm trees are. I use this to help me to find where they are, but I've already studied these things all the way through. I've already studied it. And I don't know why people keep getting confused about this picture right here. And one day I don't have it with me. I need to show the original picture. So me and Dre just agreed to do this because we know what it means. Not because everybody's going to know what it means. This is not common sense right here, first off. But really, this picture right here is supposed to be two palm trees, and there's supposed to be a person with their arms up doing this between them, okay? That's what it's supposed to be. It's not supposed to be a person kneeling at the tree, okay? This right here was representing the first Adam, which was what we were, okay? And on the other side, it was when we became born again, all right? But Adam was not kneeling next to a palm tree. He was in the desert, and he was like a black silhouette. Like if there were sunlight, all you could see was the silhouette of the man with the light hitting him. So this is supposed to be representing the first Adam, but us, meaning what we received from the first Adam, and the person with their arms up, with the hand up like this, the Yah or the Yada, was between two palm trees because of how the Bible puts people at certain places in the Bible, and it's around palm trees, the way it talks about it, even the way Deborah, like just the way it's woven in the Bible. It's really amazing. So what we did is we put the palm tree and the fallen man together, but this man is not kneeling down to the palm tree and praying. So if anyone thinks that that's what this is, it'd probably be best for you to ask, like, what does that represent? Again, it's a picture is about this long, and Adam is over here, okay? And again, that's us, what we received from the first Adam. And then the one standing up with his hands up is us being born again. That's what the picture was. And so we could have easily tried to, we tried it. I think we did put 2 palm trees. I think we have a picture, and it is too congested. Like the palm trees, like how big you see this palm tree right here. In order for it to be, if you can hear me, in order for it to be 2 palm trees, the palm trees would have to be this big, and it was too congested. So we went with something that kind of told the whole picture as best as possible, and that would be the fallen man needing wisdom. Okay, so the tree is not representing God; it's representing wisdom. That's what it's representing. That's what palm trees. When Jesus authored this whole book, he used palm trees as a sign of wisdom in the entire Bible. Okay, depending on the context. But to find that out, you don't just go to like the Strong's Concordance and go find all the palm trees and read all of them and be like, well, I don't know what you're talking about. There's so much context that's needed in everything that Christ authored. It's not like that. I think that's what people think I'm doing. Like you just go to a word and you just go look at all of them and, oh, I figured out what that meant. No, that's not what I did. I figured out what the meaning of palm trees after I've been over the stories like 100 times. Well, probably more than that. But the point is, I went over the story, the entire story that has the palm tree. I wasn't looking for palm trees. It just happened to click after so many repetitions of how the palm trees are being used. So if you think that I'm just going to the Strong's Concordance and looking up palm trees, let me go look at palm trees, and then all I'm doing is reading the verse where the palm trees. No, I know the whole story where that palm tree is, not just a verse. So a few days ago, I had someone else ask about the kneeling man. This guy right here. They were asking, is he praying to the tree of life? Like, no. You can call it that because wisdom is a tree of life, but that's not what this is representing. It's representing wisdom itself and man needing the wisdom of God. That's it. So the palm tree is not representing God. It's representing wisdom, which comes from the Spirit, okay? But wisdom is an attribute. Wisdom is not the Spirit itself. It's not. It's an attribute. Just like you have the wisdom of God, you have the knowledge of God, you have the understanding of God, right? The fear of the Lord. There's many attributes. There's 7. And Isaiah 11, 1 through 4, I think that's where it's at. People think all 7 are there. All 7 are not there. There's only 6 there. So when it says, and the Spirit of God rested upon his shoulders, you don't add the Spirit of God. All those attributes are the Spirit of God. And people are like, no, revelation, the Spirit of revelation. The New Testament, Paul tells us that now we have the Spirit of revelation. That's the 7th one, which is the middle candlestick in the menorah. Okay, that's the middle one, right? There's 7 candlesticks, 7 churches. There's even a place that talks about a certain number of angels. All right, so I'm just going to the concordance just to help find where some of these stories are because I don't have them all memorized. All right, so let's go to Exodus 15:27. Somebody go there. Exodus 15:27.
Exodus 15:27.
That's right.
Here we go. I got you.
Tell him, bro. Tell him. It's the song.
Want me to read the verse before it or no?
No, go ahead. Well, just read that right now, and then we'll go around that.
Right. And they came to Elim, where were 12 wells of water and 70 palm trees, and they encamped there by the waters.
All right. Now, what does 3 score mean?
3 score is 60. 1 score is 20. So 3 score and 10 is 70.
Right, 70. Right, the number 7. So people are like, oh no, but it's the number 70. Oh, I know, my friend. I know. Okay, even 70 itself has a perfect number, but it's 70 palm trees And so now we got to put it in context. So let's read Exodus 15. It might start at 20 or 15, somewhere around there. And just read.
All right, I got you.
All right.
It says, and Miriam, the prophetess.
Hey, hold
the
on.
sister
Hey,
of
hold on.
Aaron-
Hold on. Hey, hold on. My bad. Let me say this to Giving Grace, because I don't want people to misunderstand. Giving Grace says no coincidence with God. Let me make this real clear. No coincidence in the Bible, guys. Don't be walking around your daily life and be trying to, things are happening in your daily life and you're like, oh, it's not a coincidence. You're gonna go cuckoo. You're gonna go cuckoo. Okay, don't do that. There are certain things you can do that too, and you need to be careful on what you do it with. What I'm saying is, in the Word, okay, and I'm not talking about the black letters on the white page. I'm talking about the Bible, the Word, the God-breathed part. Those things, there are no coincidences. They were authored by Christ a very specific way for a very specific reason, and there are no coincidences because God is the one that authored it. So even though He used a man to take a pen and to write it down, the Word of God is within. It's hidden. It's not the black letters on the white page. So in that, there's no coincidences. So I don't want people to be misunderstand what I'm saying. If you're doing something in your daily life, and you say, "Oh man, wow, well, all right, well that's not a coincidence." Well, be careful because don't take what's happening in the Bible, and then try to force it to come to be something out here. Does that ever happen? I know it does, okay? But you got to be careful with it. Let's say, I don't know, one day you go on a vacation, okay? And you're at a sandals resort and you fall asleep, laying down in front of some pool and you wake up and you just happen to see the sun rays going through the palm trees and it looks like Mother Mary there. That's not the time to become a Catholic and say, well, there's no coincidence. There's no coincidence in life. You're kind of taking it and doing your own thing there, or you wake up and you look and the sun rays are coming through the palm trees and you start counting them and you're like, there's 70. Oh man, Exodus 15:27, 70. Hold on. I got to go read the Bible right now. Well, you can, or you can finish your vacation. Don't start getting all religiosity on me there. God did not make sure there were 70 palm trees there just so you can go over there and see them just to start reading the Bible at age 50. You could have been reading the Bible as soon as you're able to read, right? You could have, And when you tell people that, they're like, well, how do you know? You don't know. When people say that, how do you know? That's how you know, bro. They don't see hardly anything in the Bible. Because they think anything's possible. And some of these people believe that there's aliens and there's multiple like Milky Ways, like 50,000 different kinds of Milky Ways out there. And man, there's all kinds of creatures. Listen, I watch Star Wars and Star Trek. I don't believe it's real. That stuff's not real. You're not going to make a real lightsaber today, maybe in the year 50,000. But the best geniuses in the world say if you were trying to build a lightsaber, it would melt in your hand. Like, bro, this thing goes through metal, and within seconds, the other side starts falling apart. Within seconds? You know how hot that would be? You couldn't be human and hold that. It's crazy. Just the fact that you're pushing it through steel alone, the heat that would come off that would burn your hands. Okay? It's a novel idea, made a great story. Right? And the fiery sword, that came from the Bible. If you don't know where they got the idea to make a lightsaber, they got it from the Bible, the fiery sword. Fiery sword. Come on, man. Everybody becomes a billionaire based on the best story ever told. Everybody does. All right. All right, Benny, go ahead. Hit it.
All right, Exodus 15, starting at verse 20. It says, and Miriam, the prophetess, the sister of Aaron, took a timbrel in her hand, and all the women went out after her with timbrels and with dances. And Miriam answered them, sing ye to the Lord, for he hath triumphed gloriously. The horse and his rider has he thrown into the sea. So Moses brought Israel from the Red Sea, and they went out into the wilderness of Shur. And they went 3 days in the wilderness and found no water. And when they came to Marah, they could not drink of the waters of Marah, for they were bitter. Therefore, the name of it was called Marah. And the people murmured against Moses, saying, what shall we drink? And he cried unto the Lord, and the Lord showed him a tree, which when he had cast into the waters were made sweet. There he made for them a statute and ordinance, and there he proved them and said, if thou wilt diligently hearken to the voice of the Lord thy God, and wilt do that which is right in his sight, and will give ear to his commandments and keep all his statutes, I will put none of these diseases upon thee, which I have brought upon the Egyptians. For I am the Lord that healeth thee. And they came to Elim, where were 12 wells of water and 70 palm trees, and they encamped there by the waters.
All right, he brought them to where? Elim? Look that up. What is that word? What's that word, Elim?
Palms.
Huh? Palms, right?
Means
so
palm trees, yep.
Right, so he brought them there, right?
Yep.
I want you to pay attention. He brought them there. What happened? What did they do that was correct before he brought them there? What did he do? We've been over this part many times. What did they do that was correct in God's eyes?
Absolutely nothing.
Nothing? Anybody? They did something. They did something. Actually, Moses did it, so I'm kind of messing it up. My bad. What did the mediator do? The mediator did something that made everybody right.
He threw the rod in the water.
Yeah, he put the tree in the water and made it sweet. He hearkened unto God's voice. Right? It doesn't say that God told him what to do with the tree. It doesn't say that. But Moses, at this point, he started learning that when God shows him something, there's something with it if he shows him. He understood the rod at some point. He started understanding. He didn't understand why, but he understood. But he put the tree, which is a symbolically representing Christ, the tree of life, he put that. And then when you go study the word tree, there are some, it also does mean rod and stick. But there's only one rod, one stick, one branch, one vine, one tree. There's only one that brings things to life in the entire Bible. There's only one. And it's Jesus. So you first have to understand that they are doing the right thing in God's sight. And then you have to understand that what they did was pleasing. And then you have to understand what is pleasing to God. Christian, what's pleasing to God? Christian.
Wait, I'm here. I was away from my phone. Wait. Yes, Jesus.
Yeah. Jesus is the only thing that Jesus is the only thing that pleases God. He's the only thing.
Yes.
Okay. And
bro, I literally ran back to my phone, bro.
In order for that water to become sweet, from bitter to sweet, something of life had to be put in it. And so he puts that tree in there. After he does that, it says that how does it say it? Does he send them to Elim? What does it say? How's it worded?
They came to Elim.
Brought them to Elim.
Okay, Himalaya, which one is it?
Sorry, go ahead with the Jesus brother, Benny brother.
No.
What?
Yeah, no, hold on. Himalaya, do you have it in front of you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it says, then they came.
Right.
Then they came to Elim, where there were 12 springs of water and 70 palm trees.
All right, so then, but after that's all right. But after they did what God told them, then they came to Elim, where there were 12 wells of water. What does that mean?
Oh, the 12?
Yeah, what is 12 wells of water? What?
The Spirit of God.
Huh?
The Spirit of God.
The 12 wells of water is the Spirit of God?
No, the water, the wells.
Yeah, but what is it? What is it? Use the whole Bible.
Disciples. Christian, I think Christian whispered disciples. Wait, so
Well, it's not the disciples. That's it. That's all you can use is disciples.
I would.
No.
Isn't he like the first brother, and then so first to the Jews, then to the Gentiles?
12 nations, but I mean,
That's it.
tribes. I should say tribes.
So out of all the stories in the Bible, the only thing you can think of is 12 disciples. That's it.
I said tribes.
Oh no, I'm not thinking.
Okay, 12 tribes. So that's two things that you can think of. Is that it? All we can think of is tribes, disciples. Can't think of nothing else.
Excuse me a second.
No, that's not my answer. Is Jesus? There we go.
No, Jesse, that ain't gonna cut it. That don't work. Listen, guys, your answer cannot be Jesus. Guys, to you, the answer can be Jesus. But if you're trying to teach someone, you can't do that. You can't just say Jesus. You can't do that. They're gonna say, "Show me how," and you're like, "Well, I don't know." Well,
right. That's the problem.
That's the problem. So you have to learn how to express, how to explain that it's Jesus. You have to learn. So
Gates. Bando said 12 gates.
Well, there's a lot of 12s in the Bible, but this 12 happens to be a well. So there's number 12. It's a well, and it's water. So there's three things that you have to understand. Those three parables. You have to understand the parable of 12, the parable of water, the parable of wells. You have to understand all three of those, or you're not going to understand what this is talking about.
I didn't go to the parables.
All right, so we did 12. So now talk to me about water. He brought them to 12 wells of water. It didn't say 12 dry wells.
Out of your belly will flow living water.
Okay, so we got water, we got 12, we got water, and we got wells. So you got to start putting all of it together. All of it, everything. So whenever they fed the 5,000, how many baskets were left over?
Whoa.
What does that mean? What does that mean? 12 baskets of leftovers. What was that talking about? We're not even we're not even at the palm trees yet. We're at 12 wells. Notice where it says they came to 12 wells of water and 70 palm trees. They're together. They're all together. What does the Psalms tell us that he's going to set us by what?
By lie down in green pastures and lay us down beside the still waters.
Okay, so what do we see there? Waters, pasture. Is that green and water? Green and water? Is that what we see there?
Yes.
Life and water. So now, are we just going to say that's a coincidence? So if we do what God tells us to do, which is put the tree of life in the bitter water, which is you, all of a sudden they just came to wells of water and 70 palm trees. That's just a coincidence that it's just like what the Psalm says. Does Psalms have to say palm tree? Let me tell you this. In the place where these people live, if he put you next to a green pasture, wouldn't it have palm trees?
Yeah, it was the desert. It would be like an oasis.
But I'm saying, does it have to say that? This is where we have a problem. People say, no, if it don't say palm trees, then it's no palm trees. Oh my God, bro.
Well, palm trees have green on them.
No, I know, but
because people are imagining like an actual physical palm tree.
Yeah, well,
but people are associating green with it. Has to be Kentucky bluegrass. That's the only green pasture.
Yeah, right. So, but again, what we do see, what is a green pasture? If someone says God's going to bring you to a green pasture, what does that mean? What does that mean for
Place of rest.
well,
Place of
well,
life,
it
a
is
place of
a
safety, a place of grace. A place
well,
of
okay.
rest, yeah.
Well, of course, it's a place of rest. I'm asking, what is God going to bring you to a desolate land?
No.
No, he's going to bring you to a green pasture. Why does it matter that it's green?
I don't know, Eden.
Well, before we get there, it's life. Green represents life. That's what it represents.
Oh, bro, come on. I'm trying to think like 10 steps ahead of that, bro.
Well, that's all right. That's all right. But you have to still understand 1 through 9. Again, just because 10 is Jesus, you just can't say Jesus. You got to be able to fill in the blanks all the way. So green is life, green pasture. So what do you?
I did say we were going to go over the colors, by the way, but we never did that yet.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's so much to go over, for God's sakes. I mean, I'm trying. I wish I could be on here 10 hours a day. I can't, but there's just a lot to learn, a lot to go over, and all right, so when the Bible tells us after they fed the 5,000, it says, and they had 12 baskets of leftovers. What does that mean?
Well, Jesus came to give life and life in abundance.
What the heck? I'm talking about the 12 baskets of leftovers.
He said
12 baskets of leftovers. What does that mean? All right, let's start here.
There was no lack. There was no lack.
Okay, all right.
He said he comes to bring life abundantly.
He does. All right, so let's talk about the 12 baskets of leftover in this way. In the story, they were fed. How? How were they fed? Where'd the food come from?
A young lad had 2 fishes, and I think they had like 5 loaves.
All right, so they used a little kid's lunch, right? So they used a little kid's lunch, and who gave the food to the people?
The disciples.
The disciples did. So if there were 12 disciples and they had 2 fish and 3 loaves or whatever it was, even if you were to take 2 fish, 3 loaves, like you would have to break that up so all of them could have a piece. Because if you gave 1 fish to each person, only 2 people get a fish, only 3 people get a loaf. So you'd had to break it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So if all of them just had a piece of a fish and a piece of bread, what was happening if it wasn't multiplying in their hands while they were giving it out? Right? Or no?
No, can you
repeat
that for me? I'm confused.
What are you confused about?
So if they were breaking, right? So they picked up from the basket and they broke it and gave it, right? Or what were you saying, guys? Can you repeat that?
I don't care. I don't care how you say it. I don't care if it came out of their basket. I don't care if it came out of their shoe. I don't care if it came off the top of their head. They only had so much fish and bread in their hand to begin with. True or not?
Yes.
That's how it multiplied.
Okay, so
much.
But it's multiplying as they're giving it. Like there's no way around it.
Well, of course.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. So they don't have enough to feed 5,000 people, right?
No, it's a kid's lunch.
Okay, so they don't have enough to feed 5,000 people. But when they're done, it says that there were 12 baskets of leftovers. So what does that mean? 12 baskets of leftovers. If we sit here and not use the rest of the Bible, and you tell yourself that all it means is there were 12 baskets of leftovers, then you're not lifting your eyes. You're not turning aside and acknowledging God. You're not. Moses turned aside and he said, let me see this great sight where this bush doesn't burn. And then you see a miracle, 12 baskets of leftover. What is it? What's wrong with you where you're not lifting up your eyes and turning aside and trying to understand what that means? What's wrong with you? Why do you think
you're reading too fast?
Well, that's what it is. You're reading way too fast. You need to slow down. So, but again, you need to lift up your eyes and acknowledge God right here. So what is this? What is this 12 baskets of leftovers? What is that? I've been over this before.
Man, not me.
Yeah, so Hulk, if you know the answer, don't say it. All right, so now we got to understand vessels. That means we're having a problem with vessels. Does the Bible say that we're vessels of God?
Yeah, he formed us.
Where? Where does it
clay.
say? Go find it. Where does it say that at?
Give me a second.
No, hurry up. You act like I'm rushing you. You act like I'm rushing you. Hold on. I'm like, I'm not rushing you. Just go find it. I didn't say you got 5 seconds. Oh my God, that freaking hurts, dude.
I'm looking at it like, or do you want me to hold off?
No. Anybody can find it. I'm just trying to find where does the Bible.
Well, I'm saying I was going to get my eisegesis on it.
Oh, no. Go ahead and eisegete that bad boy.
Well, when I read it, it says that they recovered 12 baskets full of fragments, meaning there was no lack, right? Just like when they gathered the manna, the ones who gathered less didn't have lack, and the ones who had more didn't have an abundance, like they didn't have over. So everybody had the same. So
all right, so you took it back. All right, hold on. So you took it back to manna, right? Right?
Partly, yeah.
Yeah. Now let me ask you this: is that a coincidence that the manna is explained the same way? That's a coincidence, bro. It's explained the same way. It is. Do what?
I found it.
You found what?
Where it says we're formed like clay.
Well, first of all, formed like clay. Are you high? What? What are you talking about?
The answer is in 1 Thessalonians 4:4.
Hold on. Hold on. What did I ask you to go find? Maybe I'm tripping. Christian, what did I ask you to go find?
You said to figure out where we're called vessels.
Yeah, vessels. What are you talking about, clay, Christian?
Well, what I said was, yeah, he formed like clay, and you're like, all right, go find it.
No, he said vessels.
No, I said vessels. Everybody would agree I said vessels.
Okay.
All right.
I'm not saying you didn't. I said that's what I thought.
All right, vessel. We're looking for vessels here. We're looking for vessels.
1 Thessalonians 4:4 says that each of you should know how to possess his own vessel.
Yeah, that's
you are a vessel.
Yeah, that's one. There's several in there that points
there's a lot of them.
Yeah, there's several that points that we are vessels of God. So, Christian, if we're a vessel of God, what is in the vessel?
Living water.
What else?
Treasure,
yeah, hidden treasure, like in the field, spirit, wisdom, all the fruits of the spirit, all that's
the
within
spirit of
us.
the Messiah,
the fullness of deity.
Right. So, because the fullness of God is in us, are we a tree of life?
Yes,
we are.
Called to be.
So, if we're a tree of life, people eat from us.
Yeah, every day. They believe what we say.
Every day. Right. So let me ask you, if you're feeding, at some point, do you get depleted? Do you run out?
Oh, well, you mean like energy and ability to talk? Yeah.
No. I said food. If you are a tree of life, do you run out of food, of fruit? Do you run out? Do you become depleted?
No.
How do you know?
Never be
How do you know? How do you know that you don't become depleted? How do you know that?
Because the vine is the one who produces.
Okay, that's one verse. What else?
They got verse. Okay.
Because a bad tree produces bad tree.
I'm not asking if the fruit's good. I said, how do you know you don't become depleted? How do you know you don't run out?
Oh, it's because in fertile ground.
Huh?
Because that tree is on fertile ground.
Our cup runneth over?
No.
Came to mind?
No. Benny brought up one. Benny brought up one.
Gee, okay. Is it okay? One last try. Is it because the tree is by trees planted by the rivers of waters?
No.
Philippians 4:19. And my God will supply every need of yours according to his riches.
Okay,
and glory
that's
in Christ
fair.
Jesus.
That's fair. You can use that one, right? So
I think that works.
all right. So you're bringing that one up because the supply don't come from you.
Yeah, because God doesn't end, and if the supply is his, then it would never end.
Okay, so that's one. Where else? Where else in the Bible can we look at?
Pressed down, shaking together, and overflowing.
Okay, so that which proves again that it don't come from you. So there's two. Where else? And you got to use Benny's. You got to use Benny's. Go back to the one Benny brought up.
Which one did you bring up?
The manna. The manna in the Old Testament. The manna. Go read it.
Manna came down from heaven?
Nah. Go to it. Nope. Go to it and read it.
I'm going.
I'm not rushing you. I'm just saying go over there. Crack a whip at you.
Seriously.
Oh, calm down. Get out of your feelings. Just get over there and read.
When the children of Israel saw it, they said to one another, I started too far. And it came to pass, the quails came up, and when the dew that lay was gone up, behold, upon the face of the wilderness there lay a small round thing, as small as the hoarfrost on the ground. Whoa. What?
Hey, let me read my mom's favorite verse. My mom loves quoting this one, Psalms 37:25.
What?
He said, I was young and now I'm old, yet I have never seen the righteous forsaken or their children begging for bread.
Oh, my God.
When the children of Israel saw it, they said to one another, it is manna, for they wist not what it was. And Moses said unto them, this is the bread which the Lord hath given you to eat.
Keep going.
This is the thing which the Lord
All right,
hath
hold on.
commanded.
Hold on. Christian, what am I asking? Why am I telling you to go over here?
Because God provided the manna, I'm assuming.
Man, are we lost on why? We're talking about. Hold on. We're talking about 12 baskets of leftovers, right?
Yeah.
Okay. We're talking about that you're a vessel. Okay. Now we're going to the manna because we're getting to the point where it looks like that we feed. We're a tree of life. We feed, but it doesn't come from us. The supply that we give doesn't come from us. So now you need to be looking at something here that is showing that you don't run out. You don't run out. So keep reading until you see something like that.
Well, I'm assuming it's right where they get limited, but this is the thing which the Lord hath commanded. Gather of it every man according to his eating, an omer for every man according to the number of your persons. Take ye every man for them which are in his tents.
Keep going.
And the children of Israel did so and gathered some more, some less. And when they did, mete, or measure it, with an omer, he that gathered much had nothing over, and he that gathered little had no lack. They gathering every man according to his eating.
So help me out.
All right, bro.
What are they gathering?
It says right here, anyone who gathered the manna, whether it was little or much, neither one lacked.
So they all had the same amount. No matter how much you got, you had the same amount as the other person, right?
Yes.
And Jesus said, I'm the true manna, right?
Yes.
And Jesus is the tree of life, right?
Yes.
And he said, if you're in me, I'm in you, right?
Correct.
Okay. So when the disciples fed, stop picturing the stupid fish and the bread. When the disciples fed the people, where was it coming from?
From Christ himself.
From Christ himself. Why? Because they are a what?
The measure.
No.
A vessel.
They're a vessel. They're a vessel. So when it says there were 12 baskets of leftovers, what does that mean? How much longer? After they were done feeding, it says there were 12 baskets of leftovers.
Yes, bro, but it's not.
Yes, I think, okay, the scripture, I don't know how to say it, but the scripture that says you will do greater things, that one.
No, I'm asking, what is the 12 baskets of leftovers?
The spirit?
Food in abundance, like
Manna, you clowns.
No, not manna. No, CJ,
I was
no.
gonna say what?
Hold on, no. My question is, what are the 12?
It represents the rivers of living water, flowing rivers of living water out of your belly, like over an abundance. You overflowing everywhere you go. Like there's the same amount. It's the same measure of faith given to everybody. It's the measure of faith. Everybody, those 12 represents the tribes of Israel, which is the people of God. Everybody gets the measure of faith, the overflowing measure of faith that comes from one person, which is the source, which is the tree of life.
So when it says, now, Christian, if you think you've already given the answer, give it again, because I haven't heard it. What are the 12 baskets of leftover?
Well, was Dre right?
I'm not going to say yes or no. I'm asking you.
I mean, yeah. I mean, the 12, that's exactly where my mind went in the first place.
No, it didn't. No, it didn't because you would have said it. So I'm asking you, what are the 12 baskets of leftovers?
The 12 tribes getting their exact measure of faith.
Okay, that's true. Okay, now explain it to me in this story. What are the 12 baskets of leftovers? What all have we talked about so far?
I mean, we've talked over what the manna is, what the vessels are.
Okay, so all right. So we talked about manna. We talked about manna representing what? What is manna representing? What you're feeding, right? What you're giving people to eat.
Yes.
Okay. And then we talked about vessels. And what did we say about vessels?
That we are the vessels.
Okay. So what are the 12 baskets of leftovers? Oh my God.
Vessels who are people.
Okay. So what are the 12 Go ahead.
So the 12 disciples.
It's the disciples, bro. It's the disciples. It's not it's not the disciples. Listen, hold on. Hold on a second. It's not, listen, hold on. It's not the disciples carrying a basket. They are the basket, bro. They're the vessel.
Bro, but
that's why it says when they gathered, it was 12 baskets full because they were still there were still filled.
They're still filled. If you have it, you don't lack, you don't run out. That's why I said.
Well, yes, bro. I know that.
Well, if you knew,
I said that earlier.
Oh, listen.
No,
hey guys,
not the disciples.
No. Then I wasn't talking about No, I'm not talking about when you said the 12 is representing the disciples. I was talking about the manna.
Well, okay.
So if you knew that. And then I said just now, if you said the answer, and maybe I didn't hear you say it again, and you said, no, I haven't. And now all of a sudden you say, oh, yes, I did. Christian, you're confusing the heck out of me. I literally just said, hey, Christian, if you think you said the answer already, and I didn't hear it, say it again. Why didn't you say the disciples are the 12 baskets of leftovers?
Because I was carrying over the no, not the disciples thing from the previous conversation.
Yeah, but I wasn't talking about, okay, so... okay, let's back up. Just so we're clear, okay? the 12 baskets of leftovers is not just the disciples, but in the story, it is the disciples because all of us are vessels. You understand?
Yes.
Okay. So,
Yes.
so if you went and joined the disciples, how many baskets of leftovers would there be?
13.
There'd be 13. Okay. So we are vessels. So when all people are doing is picturing the disciples carrying baskets and they're feeding people, and then they all stood around 12. So the 12 disciples had 12 baskets and they had more food than they could give.
And guess what, Trot? They wouldn't have been able to go aside on their own and say, "Look, I'm greater in the kingdom. I fed more people." They all gave the equal amount.
They all gave all they could, and each one of their baskets, meaning themselves, was still completely full. Not lack. Nobody had more over. Nobody had less than another. This is all
because we're given the exact measure, not measures.
Right. The measure. Right.
So if I'm correct, right, in this story, it was not about the number of baskets, but about who the baskets even are.
Well, the number does matter too, though. It is about the number here because the number is representing the 12 tribes of Israel. That's why Jesus chose 12 disciples, because he was doing a new thing. Yes, it matters. So, all right.
Hey, real quick.
Yeah.
Benny. Hey, Benny, I thought about you because you always saying like how the slang always comes from the Bible. It could be the same thing. Hey, dog, break me off a piece of that. Break me a piece of that.
Yeah.
And Brother Trot, like, is it fair to say that it also matters because it's first to the Jews and then to the Gentiles? Is it fair to say that or no?
Towards what?
In this context.
I don't understand. I don't understand what you're saying. No. Elaborate. What are you saying? I don't get what you're saying.
Is it okay? Is this sentence okay? The 12 number matters in this story because the gospel is first to the Jews and then to the Gentiles.
Yes. It was first to the Jews. Yes. So you can say that. That's why he chose 12. Listen, whenever Elijah battled, whenever Elijah had a rap battle against the prophets of Baal, right?
Whenever he mocked them.
Well, that's all he did, really. But when this battle took place, how many stones did he use to make the altar? Does anybody remember?
Had it been 12.
Well, it could have been. Maybe. Let's go look at it real quick. Why are we looking all this up? Does anybody remember where we are? I do.
It was 12.
Yeah, I know. It was 12. Does anybody know why we're looking all this stuff up? Does anybody remember?
Yeah, because we're talking about Deborah the palm tree sitting on the rock and you said it right correlate.
Well, yeah, that is the reason. So why are we talking about 12 wells of water? Why are we doing all this? Because we're talking about palm trees. Why?
Because it all ties back into it.
It does, because it shows you where they are. If all you see is 70 palm trees, well, how does that mean? Well, I'm trying to show you how. Just slow down. Because the 12 wells of water have a significant meaning. And they're together with the 70 palm trees. They're together. They're not separate.
And it even says, so it's 1 Kings 18:27. It even says, and it came to pass at noon that Elijah mocked them.
Oh, he did. He mocked the heck out of them because the spirit and the flesh are enmity to one another. They mock one another. That's why David
he is talking.
All right, before we digress. Okay, so how many stones were there?
I'm still getting there. Hold on. I'm still reading it.
If somebody finds it first.
12 stones. Ha.
12 stones. So he built an altar.
31.
Watch this. He built the altar utilizing 12 stones, right?
Yeah.
Right. And Jesus
according
built
to the number of the tribes,
and Jesus built the spiritual church utilizing what?
The 12 disciples.
The 12 disciples.
Well,
So-
let me say it.
Well, you didn't say it, so whatever. Anyway, let's move on. Whatever. Get out of your fifis. All right, so check it out. So here they are at this bitter water, all the people, and they throw Moses cast a tree into bitter water. It makes the bitter water sweet, meaning bringing it to life, which that's Christ is the only thing that you cast in bitter water to make it sweet. It's him. He's the life, tree of life. So Moses puts the tree, and as soon as they do that, they come to a place where there's 12 vessels, 12 wells of water. We're all wells of living water, if you don't know that. But he brings them to the 12 vessels, 12 wells of water. And what else does it say is there? Somebody read it. And they came to what? Somebody read it from the book. Don't guess. Hello.
Oh, give me a second. It says,
they came to Elam, where were 12 wells of water and 70 palm trees, and they encamped there by the waters.
And they what?
encamped there by the waters.
They camped there. Camped.
At beside green pastures.
It's important that it says camped. Now you would easily shrub it off and say, well, duh, bro, like when you're camping, you have a tent. No, there is no duh, bro. In the Bible, tent represents your heart. That's what it represents. That's what the tent represents. And that's where they camped. That's where their heart was now. Their heart came back to God after the bitter water was made sweet. Their heart came back to God. That's what it means. They camped by 12 wells of water and 70 palm trees. This is a flourishing place. Do you understand? Flourishing. It's flourishing, this place where they're at. And the 12 wells of water is talking about the foundation that God used, which is the 12 tribes, the 12 disciples, and now the 12 gates of heaven. Okay? But it all started with the 12 tribes as a foundation. And then God came to this world and he chose 12 disciples. He's emulating, he's showing you how to read the Bible. He did not just pick 12 disciples just because. This is the author of the entire Bible. He did not just come here to walk around and be unalive just to be the lamb. That's not all he did. He did way more than that. He did that, which was a prophecy, while he was showing you how to read the Old Testament. Imagine that for a second. He kept his integrity so perfect that everything he did will lead you back to the Old Testament. Everything that he did. So he didn't just come and everything that he was doing, he was kind of just figuring it out one day at a time. Well, guys, today, no. Every step he took, in every step I take, dun, 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 dun. Who sings that? Is that Bryan Adams?
No idea. Go on.
But everything that he did is so whoever would lift up their eyes, turn aside, and they can see what he was doing while he was here. So he picked 12 disciples. 12 disciples fed 5,000 people, which is the number of grace, by the way. There's another instance where he feeds 4,000, but this instance, they feed people and they have 12 baskets of leftover. Of course they do, because they are the basket. They are the vessel that has the food that feeds people. You're it. You are it. So
Hey, we should look at that.
Which
we
part?
should go look at that other one. That's interesting because I think it's 4,000, but he took up 7 baskets full.
Yeah, let's go look at it. We'll go look at it. I'm just
That might be a little derail off the
nah.
topic,
We can go look at it real quick. It is.
No.
We go look at it real quick. I mean, I'm just
Got it, Christian?
No, not yet. Give me a second. Give me a second.
Interrupt you, Trot.
No, you didn't interrupt me. That's fine. Because those numbers have significant meanings too. There is a reason that there's 4. The first one, right? The 5,000, referring to grace. The 4, and you'll see why there's so many. Let's just go look at it. I don't want
to. All right. So it's Matthew 16:10, I believe. I guess start at 8. Which when Jesus perceived, he said unto them, O ye of little faith, why reason ye among yourselves, because ye have brought no bread? Do ye not yet understand, neither remember the 5 loaves of the 5,000, and how many baskets ye took up, neither the 7 loaves of the 4,000, and how many baskets ye took up? How is it that ye do not understand that I spake it not to you concerning bread, that ye should beware of the leaven of the Pharisees and of the Sadducees?
Okay, so are we going to go? Are we going to go to the when he fed the 4,000 or not?
Yes. Sorry.
Try to get there fast, man, because I'm going to have to hop off, and I want to get to the point of the palm trees. And that's just one. That's just one palm tree.
This is ESV. So Matthew 15:32. Then Jesus called his disciples to him and said, I have compassion on the crowd, because they have been with me now 3 days and have nothing to eat. And I am unwilling to send them away hungry, lest they faint on the way. And the disciples said to him, Where are we to get enough bread in such a desolate place to feed so great a crowd? And Jesus said to them, How many loaves do you have? They said, 7, and a few small fish. And directing the crowd to sit down on the ground, he took the 7 loaves and the fish, and having given thanks, he broke them and gave them to the disciples. And the disciples gave them to the crowds. And they all ate and were satisfied. And they took up 7 baskets full of the broken pieces left over. Those who ate were 4,000 men, besides women and children. And after sending away the crowds, he got into the boat and went to the region of Magadan.
All right. So in one story, there's 12 baskets of leftover, right? Which is pointing to the foundation of everything that God started through Abraham, okay? And in this one, there's 7 baskets of leftover. So it should be clear why there's 12 baskets in one. So now, why is there 7 baskets of leftovers now?
Well, 7 is completion, but I mean, like,
do what? What'd y'all say? I'm sorry.
He said perfection.
Yeah, so that's what 7 represents. Perfection. But here they fed 4,000, but there were 7 baskets of leftovers. What did they have to give?
7 baskets.
No, food. What was the food that they had?
Bread and fish. Fish and bread.
Yeah, but it was 7 loaves.
7 loaves.
It was 7 loaves, right? There were 7 loaves. So they still have bread and fish, but now they have 7 loaves, and now there's 7 baskets.
The man is perfected?
Okay,
the man is perfect?
Yeah, sorry, quick question, right? 1 second, sorry, Christian. So on the verse 34, it says, and Jesus said to them, how many loaves do you have? They said 7 and a few small fish, right? A few small fish. But then in verse 36, he took the 7 loaves and the fish. So is there like something I need to learn, like a few small fish versus the fish?
No. Same
No,
thing.
it's
No,
the same
the
fish.
thing that's
They
being
the same.
pointed, the thing that's being pointed out here is the 7 loaves. It's the
I
manna.
tried
Yeah.
7 is completion. It was 4,000 people. 4 is like the number of completion again. So it's like more completion, 4,000, and then you got 7 leftover baskets, which again is perfection, completion. So you see like the perfection of the bread that he brings, and then like in the next chapter he goes into talk about the other kind of bread, which comes with the leaven of the Pharisees, and he's making a distinction from what he gives compared to like the legalism or the law or man.
Yeah,
At least
because
that's how,
because he brings up the Pharisees' leaven.
Yep.
He brings up the Pharisees' leaven, and he's saying, because there's 2 leavens, and he's saying that his leaven, him, that's why there's 7. How many candlesticks are there on the menorah?
7.
7. So again, the supply comes from him. It doesn't come from us. We are the vessel, so we are a vessel of leftovers, but it's all comes from him. So 7.
Then you got to get into like the three leavens that the kingdom of God represent or that is comprised of, and you got to go into that. And I know me and Benny digged into that for a while too.
Yeah.
3 different like the 3 measures of leaven, and you got to go to Ruth with the leavens. There's a lot of leavens. You got to go back to the sacrifices with the leavens,
Yep.
and you'll see the 3 measures that the kingdom of God has made, which is the 7, which is the bread, which is perfection. It's all connected.
It's all connected. And so the 12 baskets of leftovers is referring to the disciples individually being a vessel of the Lord to feed. That's why Jesus says, feed my sheep. That's why he's saying, feed my sheep. He's not saying, go find people under the bridge and feed them. It's not what he's telling you to do. You're not wrong for doing that, but that's not what he's telling you to do. Feeding people is what we're doing right here. People are eating. I'm a vessel. People are eating. That's what you're supposed to do. That's how you make disciples. You don't make disciples by arguing about who's right about Trinity and oneness. That's not feeding the sheep. I don't know why people think that's feeding the sheep. You're not feeding the sheep. No, you're not. You're scattering people abroad. That's all you're doing. Okay? But there's people who come to the Lord, and because they have a contrite heart, they can receive from God in any kind of way. So I'll never be against apologetics. I think people think I'm against it. I'm not against it. I'm always going to say there's a better way. There's a better way, and it'd be best for you to do a way that's better, right? You know, you can be 100-fold giver. You don't have to be a 30-fold, but you can choose to be. By arguing all day, you can choose to be a 30-fold. But God can use you a lot more if you would understand what it is I'm trying to show, what the Bible is saying right here. So you have the 7 candlesticks, which is the menorah. All those represent the Spirit of God, right? The Spirit of knowledge, the Spirit of might, the Spirit of fear of the Lord, the Spirit of understanding. You have 7 that's there. And that's what the 7 loaves are representing. It's representing the Spirit. So they're giving to the people the Spirit, and there's leftover. The Spirit's, if the Spirit is the supplier and you got the Spirit of God in you, you are a vessel at this point because you have that Spirit, the supplier, on the inside of you. Okay? So, all right, let's not beat up that one anymore. What?
No, I was just gonna say that's right because the fourth river is in English it means bursting forth. Is that right, Dre? I think that's what it was, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Bursting forth.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the way I look at it is because I'm from the Himalayan mountains, like we study about the source and resources of water, right? The way I look at it is that God being the source and we being the resources. Like him being the first mountain where the water comes down from. And
yeah, but that's not the way you look at it. That's the way God explains it, right? So be careful on saying, well, the way I see it, it don't matter how we see it. How does the Bible explain it? The Bible explains that Jesus is the source And when we have Jesus, we now have the source and we become the source. So Jesus said, without me, you could have nothing. So we are grafted into the source. If you're not grafted into the source, then there's nothing that can come from you. But if you're grafted into the source, you become the source. You become one. We're one body, one mind, one spirit. You become that. That's why we're co-heirs with Christ. Co-heirs.
Yeah, you become the same thing that you graft onto because you exist
Right.
off of that thing.
Right. And that's why the Bible says in 1 John 4:17, as he is, talking about Jesus, so are we in this world. You are as he is. 100%. You are as he is.
It's like better than what you thought, you know? It's like it cannot, like, too good to be true.
All right. And we're doing all this so we can understand palm trees. And somebody would say, man, no, bro, I just want to know about the palm tree. I'm sitting there telling you, if you don't understand the 12 wells of water, then the palm trees have no significance because they're in the same place. It matters. So it said they came to 12 wells of water and 70 palm trees. Okay, so what does the Psalm say? That he's going to put us next to what?
Lie down in green pastures next to the still waters.
Right, next to the still waters. Now, still waters is
Psalms
talking.
chapter 1 talks about the tree.
Huh?
I'm sorry. I said Psalms chapter 1 talks about the tree planted by the waters.
Yeah, the tree planted by the waters. Right?
That's what me and Benny were talking about the other day. I was like, literally, Psalm 1, just look at it.
Yeah, Psalm 1. All right, so now we see 70 palm trees. We went over the 12 wells of water. Now there's 70 palm trees, which the number 70 means abundance. The number 7 is the perfect number, God's number, perfection. 70 meaning abundance. That's what it means. And what does the Bible say about abundance? What does it say? What does it say when it's talking about us receiving spiritual revelation? It says, for those that have. Anybody know? No? Nobody knows?
The more shall be given.
More shall be given.
And to those that think he has, that which he think he has will be taken.
Taken, right. But when you do have it, you get more. Where does it come from? Wisdom? Does it come from wisdom? Where does this more come from?
Mm-hmm. Yes, wisdom, understanding.
Right. So it comes from the supply. So when Christ is casting the bitterness of your life, which is your belly, it becomes sweet, right? Now you are a well of living water and you get abundance of wisdom. That's what this is saying. That's where he puts you. That's where you're put because you receive Christ. Okay, that's just one. People say, well, how do you get all that from that? We're not done. We're just studied one, for God's sakes. One. Watch how all the other ones correlate. Watch how they all correlate. Watch. And I'm trying to rush because I'm going to have to go. Look, let's go to Leviticus 23:40. I don't have all these memorized. And if this doesn't have if Leviticus 23:40 is not in that context, then that's not what I'm just trying to hurry up and find them. They're all in here, all of them. You just have to understand what it's talking about.
All right, it says, ye shall take you on the first day the boughs of goodly trees, branches of palm trees, and the boughs of fig trees and willows of the brook.
All right,
you
now
shall rejoice before the Lord your God 7 days.
All right. Now what is this talking about? Where are we at here in the Bible? Go further up. Like, where are we at?
They're talking about, it says, speaking unto the children, 5th day of this 7th month shall be Feast of Tabernacles for 7 days unto the Lord.
All right, so hold on. So that's where we're at, the Feast of Tabernacles?
Right? Yep. Yep.
All right. So read about 2 or 3 verses before the one you read, and just read from there.
All right. It says, "These are the feasts of the Lord, which ye shall proclaim to be holy convocations, to offer an offering made by fire unto the Lord, a burnt offering and a meat offering, a sacrifice and drink offerings, everything upon his day, beside the Sabbaths of the Lord, and beside your gifts, and beside all your vows, and beside all your freewill offerings which ye give unto the Lord. Also in the 15th day of the 7th month, when ye have gathered in the fruit of the land, ye shall keep a feast unto the Lord 7 days. On the first day shall be a Sabbath, and on the 8th day shall be a Sabbath. And ye shall take you on the first day the boughs of goodly trees, branches of palm trees, and the boughs of fig trees and willows of the brook. And ye shall rejoice before the Lord your God 7 days."
Yeah. All right. Hey, Ricky, what's going on, man? What's on your mind?
Not much, brother. While he was reading that, I was thinking about fasting, the power of the 3-day fast and the 7-day fast, and gets my mind going a little bit. But talking back about I had a deep revelation on what you was exactly explaining about the loaves of the fish. Take note how Jesus Christ, he went and prayed before that. He spent some time with the Father, because Christ did that often. And through that, not to piggyback off what you said, but through that, he was then able to come to the disciples and divvy out to them what he received, and then the disciples went and did it. Now, us as believers, when we're walking, it seems to be when we're walking upright, pure, and we're walking the way Christ walked, you have the ability to go straight to the Father, and you receive a pouring that's a little bit different than when you're committing treason against the sacrifice Christ made for us by sin. But when we repent and come back to the Father through Christ, because sometimes we're going through Christ and sometimes we're more Christ-like and able to go straight to the Father, depending on how righteous we're living and how unstained we are. And when we get stained, we got to rely on Christ's sacrifice to clean us. We don't try to necessarily do nothing. We just keep a repentative heart, and we should always feel bad for the treason.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're not really talking about committing treason or any of that. We're kind of looking into what certain things are meaning. So we're not really going through like when someone is saved or almost saved or not saved, or what do you got to do to keep salvation. We're not really talking about that. We're kind of talking about when Jesus authored the entire Bible, how he actually shows us what certain things mean if we just took some time to look at it. So I appreciate you. If you don't mind, just mute up. You can stick around, but I'm going to have to hop off here in a minute, and I really want to get to the point that I was getting at. So appreciate you coming up. Just let us get there. All right, where are we at, Benny? Or not?
Yeah, so I read it again. Basically, the Feast of Tabernacles, he's giving them instructions about these feasts, what they're gonna do on the first day, 8 days, it's a Sabbath, and how they should worship.
Right.
And it
All
says,
right.
grab these palm trees, these goodly trees, these thick boughs, right?
Yeah.
And rejoice before the Lord your God 7 days.
All right. Now look up that word goodly. What word is that in the Hebrew?
That word is hadar. It means magnificence, ornament or splendor, beauty, comeliness, glory.
What'd you say after beauty?
Comeliness.
Yeah, comeliness. All right. Mm-hmm. So he's talking about goodly trees. What does that mean? Does that mean pleasant trees?
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So how many pleasant things are there in the Bible?
One.
There's only one. So if God's calling a tree a goodly tree, what is he trying to say about the tree?
That is Jesus.
Well, I don't want to jump to the Jesus thing, but the thing is, it's pleasing. It's pleasing to him. It's pleasing.
Yeah,
it's pleasing to him. Okay, it's pleasing. That word pleasing means a lot in the Bible. When you say something is pleasing to God, that means it's not displeasing. Okay, it's pleasing. And go ahead and read that verse that's there? Benny or whoever, the verse that we...
And you shall take you on the first day the boughs of goodly trees, branches of palm trees, and the boughs of thick trees and willows of the brook.
All right,
and ye
so
shall rejoice
watch
7
this.
days.
Watch this. It says goodly trees and then branches of palm trees. Well, why would he put branches of palm trees in the goodly trees unless the palm tree is a goodly tree?
Uh-oh.
Right? Or no? So is he saying, hey, take some good trees and mix it with some bad trees? Is that what he's telling them to do? Or is he pointing out goodly trees? So let's go look at some things in the Bible that's called goodly. Go look that word up, goodly. And let's see what God calls goodly. Let's see if we can make some sense of this goodly stuff here. Boy, I got so many verses in my mind right now. One of them is about King Saul. Let's see. All right, goodly. Let's try to do this real quick. Benny, you got me?
I'm here.
All right, read Genesis 27:15.
Hey, you can give me the next one. I can go.
Okay, all right. Benny, you read Genesis 27:15. I was going to call you Joseph. Dre, read Genesis 39:6 after Benny. Benny, you ready?
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
It says, and Rebekah took goodly raiment of her eldest son Esau, which were with her in the house, and put them upon Jacob, her younger son.
Do I got to go over the whole story of Jacob and Esau again?
Maybe for Christian, but tomorrow.
But notice that's how Jacob was recognized as the older son, or I'm sorry, as the firstborn. He was recognized as the firstborn because he had a goodly remnant. So if this remnant is called goodly, wouldn't that for us today be representing the remnant of Christ to wear his goodly garment? Yes? No? Maybe so?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes, sir.
All right. Genesis 39:6.
And he left all that he had in Joseph's hand, and he knew not aught he had, save the bread which he did eat. And Joseph was a goodly person and well favored.
Joseph was a shadow of Christ, and he was called goodly in the Bible. Goodly. Esau had a goodly remnant. Esau was red all over. He was ruddy. He was the firstborn. And Jacob, in order to receive the inheritance, he had to put on the goodly garment. All right, so let's go to Genesis 49:21. Somebody, and this will be the last one. I could do this all day, man, with the word goodly. You just have to know what is being. So much you have to know, like it's crazy. Not for salvation. Don't misunderstand. But to be a disciple, you have to know this stuff, man. Only a disciple can make a disciple. A convert cannot make a disciple. A convert just argues about what the Bible says. But a disciple makes disciples. What?
Can we read Jeremiah 16 after that? I know you got to go, but I like that one.
Yeah. All right, go ahead. Go to Genesis 49:21 and then Jeremiah.
Oh, Benny, you don't got that? Where you at, Benny? Where my sidekick at, man?
Yeah, I got you. I got that one. 49:21. Go ahead and read yours, Ray. Or you want this one first?
It don't matter.
I think Trot wants that one.
It don't matter. It don't matter. Just read whatever.
I'll read Jeremiah.
Naphtali is a hind. Naphtali is a hind let loose. He giveth goodly words.
Who gives goodly words?
Naphtali.
Naphtali?
Naphtali.
What is Naphtali? What does his name mean?
Oh, bro, I know this.
First name, Means wrestling.
It means wrestling. Yeah.
My wrestling.
My wrestling, right? Because on the looking at the cross, the way that the Hebrews set up their camps, you had Dan and you had Nephthali was on the same side. Dan meaning judgment, Nephthali meaning my wrestling, which is God's wrestling, right? But it's talking about the judgment side of God. Our battles is God's wrestling. That's why it's on his left. Like if you're looking at it, it's our right, but it's God's left, right? Because the other side, which is the side of who's over there? You have Dan, Naphtali, and then above you have Benjamin. On the bottom you have Judah, and then on the left side, which is God's right side, it's Dan, Reuben, maybe.
I'm drawing a blank. Oh, I think it is.
No, Benjamin's above. So it's Benjamin, Dan, Naphtali, Judah, Issachar, I think, and then over here it's what tribe have I not mentioned?
Hold on, I'm pull it up. Give me a second.
Is Reuben?
I'm drawing a blank.
Is it Reuben?
Well, hold on, give me a second.
It's been that long.
Sure, Gad. I don't know.
No, Gad. I think Gad's over. I think it's Dan, Gad, Naphtali. Man, it's been a long time. Y'all gonna make me go look at that again. Anyway, I don't want to digress. But
yeah, I think it says like Reuben, Simon, and Gad.
Yeah,
it's Reuben, Dan, Issachar, Gad, Naphtali.
No. But I mean it's the
Reuben,
three. So remember in each direction you have three tribes. So on the top it's Benjamin, Manasseh, and I can't remember the other one, but on the other side it was Dan, Naphtali, and something else. On the bottom where Judah is, I can't remember the other two, but I think Reuben.
I thought the south was Judah, Benjamin, and Levi.
No, Benjamin and Manasseh.
Okay.
Benjamin and Manasseh is on top.
Okay.
Yeah, Benjamin and Manasseh is up here.
Benjamin, Manasseh, and Ephraim.
And Ephraim. All right, so who's on the left, looking down?
Reuben, Simon, and Gad.
Simon. Simon. That's who I was thinking of. Simon, right? Because that's talking about hearing. That's talking about hearing and stretching forth your hand. And all right. Let's go back to. All right. So, Dre, what did you read, or who read what last?
Let me read. Oh, he just read.
No, read it again. Hold on, Benny, read it again.
Naphtali is a hind let loose. He giveth goodly words.
Yeah. Dang, I can't remember that one, bro. I don't want to use that. I can't remember where we are right there. I think it's is that giving the promises to each tribe?
Yeah, that's reading about what they.
Okay. All right. Let's lay off that one because I don't recall.
Genesis 49.
Yeah, that's 49. That's where he gives them the lands and he's blessing them and all that stuff. Yeah. So Dre,
It was specifically what will befall the 12 tribes in the last days.
Yeah. But I don't recall all the details of that right now. But we can get into it. But I don't want to take 30 minutes because I got to go here in a minute. Dre, go ahead and read yours.
Jeremiah 11:16 says, "The Lord called thy name a green olive tree, fair and of goodly fruit."
Yeah,
with the noise of a great multitude. Go ahead.
No. I was just saying, when you start looking in to these words, the way God uses them, He's very consistent. He's not like a man, right? When God honors His word. He honors His word. The way He uses one word, He doesn't misrepresent that word ever again. However He uses a word, He constantly will use that word because He's a man of integrity. So if He calls something goodly, it is goodly because He called it goodly. Unless iniquity is found in it, then it's not Him, right? That's why people have a hard time with the tree of knowledge of good and evil. They don't understand that was Lucifer. They don't understand. They get mad. No. Bro, we're all trees. The Bible calls us trees, calls angels trees. And when you try to get away from that, now we have a bunch of different kind of trees. No. When God calls something, that's what it is when He calls it that. So a goodly fruit comes from a goodly tree. You're not going to ever hear God say that good good fruit comes from a bad tree. You're not going to hear that. But when you hear Eve, when Eve said that the tree was good for food and pleasant to the eyes, it wasn't good for food and pleasant to God's eyes. That's why he told them not to eat it. But this will never change in someone's head unless they understand that God, he honors his word, not people's words, him. So for Eve to see that tree pleasant and good for food, now we're saying that because Eve said it was pleasant, it overrides God and it's pleasant. No, God said don't eat it. Was it pleasant to eat or not? If you say, oh, it was always pleasant. Well, look, it says she saw it as pleasant. No, bro, there's two pleasants, two in the Bible. There's pleasantness in God's eyes, and there's something that's pleasant in man's eyes. They're not the same pleasant. And when you don't understand that, you miss God's integrity. You're missing it. It was her. Eve lost her integrity, not God. What were you going to say?
I was going to say, can we use that same common sense when it comes down to like pork? God says pork is not good, and then
he doesn't say pork is not good. He said don't eat of swine.
He says unclean to you.
No, I know, but he calls it swine, not pork. Swine. That word matters. That's what I'm talking about. The word that he's using. So when we say that swine is talking about pork, now it's no longer swine, it's talking about something else. But in the Bible, well, go ahead. We'll finish what you were saying. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead.
I was just going to say that according to the scripture, it says that the swine, even though it divided the hoof, right, like it has feet like a deer, but it does not chew the cud. It is unclean to you. I look at that as a pig.
Well, yeah, of course. In the Old Testament, it was a pig. You're right. Okay, but what is a swine today? So it says you can't eat of the swine. It says even though it has a split hoof, but it doesn't chew the cud, you cannot eat it. It's unclean. But then it talks about a rabbit, and it says the rabbit chews the cud, but it doesn't have a split hoof. So what we're talking about is God speaks a certain way, and if you follow the way that he speaks, you'll know what he's saying. So a swine is a person today. That's what a swine has always been. A swine has always been something that you're not spiritually supposed to eat from. So in the Old Testament, it was physical. But today, it's not talking about a pig. It says that a swine is unclean because it doesn't chew the cud. Even though it has a split hoof, it doesn't chew the cud. It has to have both. So correct. A person has to know how to rightly divide. That's what the splitted hoof is. It has to rightly divide. Hold on. But chewing the cud is God's word. That's what chewing the cud is. Someone who meditates on the word of God. That's why the Bible says, don't cast your pearls to swine. It's not talking about don't take gems that you found in the ground and go throw them to a pig. That's not what it's teaching. It's being very consistent what a swine is. A pearl is the word of God, a gem that you found in the word, and you go to someone who doesn't chew the cud, which is the word, and you try to feed it to them. They only eat slop. A swine eats everything. It believes everything. It has no strong foundation. It's talking about a people. So an Islamic believer that will make fun of people eating pork. First of all, I'm not saying this to eat pork. Pork is not top of my food chain. I like beef. Okay, I'm not doing this so I can find a way to eat. I could care less about pork. I don't need pork. I like beef. But I understand God's integrity. I understand his integrity, his meaning, his shadows, things that are going to come, not things that already are, things that were going to come in the Old Testament. So an Islam, let me say this last thing. An Islamic believer will tell a Christian, how dare you eat pork, because they're blind. They don't know how to read the Bible. So an Islamic believer will say, that's pork today. That's a pig. And I go, no, it's not. You're the swine because you don't chew the cud, which is the word of God. So I'm not supposed to listen to them. So the truth is, an Islamic believer eats more pork than I do. They eat more swine than I do. That's what the Bible teaches.
It makes sense.
Hey,
Can we use
real
that same
quick,
analogy?
Hold on, Hero, real quick, because this is bothering me. Let me just say this real quick, and I'm gonna drop off. I gotta go. So, looking at the cross trot, it's Dan, Asher, Neferteli. To the left is Reuben, Simeon, Gad. And then to the bottom was Judah, Issachar, Zebulun.
Yeah.
And then to the top was Ephraim, Manasseh, and Benjamin.
Yeah.
For the record, that was bothering me.
It was bothering me too, man. I was like, I'm mad that I don't have it memorized. I used to have it memorized, but
yeah.
I was just
I
gonna
think
ask.
this has been bothering everybody for many, many years for the rest of our lives.
Yeah.
I was just gonna ask, host. So can when we look at the swine, like metaphorically speaking, which you made a good point. You know, you brought up some good points. You know, right? I would look at swine as being people as well. But can we look at Eve when she ate the fruit? Is that like a physical fruit, or is that like people as well?
Yeah, no, it's people. It's people because angels and people are trees. So if we're not supposed to eat from a swine, that's a bad tree that we don't eat from. So she ate from a bad tree. So it is very confusing at first, and I hate that people get confused about this. But all I have to do is go back to me when I was first learning it. I was confused. So I'm no longer afraid when people are confused about this because I was confused. So if I got to a point where I'm no longer confused, well, then that's what I trust. That I got to a point I'm no longer confused. So and I know that I'm not the smartest man. So if I'm not the smartest man, and I got to a point where I'm no longer confused, then it's not about how smart you are. It's about where your heart is. That's because my heart was in the right place when I understood this. It had nothing to do with how I went to formal classes and I was formally taught how to. No. There was no formal. There wasn't all this formal. I didn't get a piece of paper that says, "Look, I understand that swine are people." That's not how it happened. I just had a contrite heart and I could see. So Eve. And I'll just say it straight out. And again, it is confusing at first, but it doesn't stay that way. So all the trees that God is saying to eat from, those are all angels. That's what they are. They're angels. And he's saying you can eat from them, meaning listen. You can listen. Because in the Bible, eating is believing. You can believe what all these trees say. Until, the Bible tells us, iniquity was found in Lucifer. The Bible makes it very clear. You are my perfect cherubim. You were in the garden of God, until iniquity was found in you. So initially, God put all the angels there. He put them all there. But when iniquity was found in Lucifer, he said, now don't listen to this one. But at first, that was not true. God made all of them, and they were all good. All of them were. Until, the Bible tells us, until iniquity was found in you, your much merchandise, and he starts telling what the iniquity was, which is his lies. But the point is, God but God said, don't eat of this one. So God did not plant the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, meaning after iniquity was found in Lucifer, that is not what he planted. He did not put that in the garden. What God put in the garden was good. So when people get confused, when I say God did not plant that tree there, they're thinking that I'm saying initially, like, well, then how did that tree get there? Well, bro, iniquity wasn't there. When God put Lucifer there to minister to Adam and Eve, there was no iniquity. None. Until iniquity was found in him. And he said, don't eat of that tree. The day that you do, you shall surely die. But at first, it was not so. But either way, the tree of knowledge of good and evil, that's not what God put there for Adam and Eve to eat. That's why he said, don't eat. But she did eat. She ate of a swine. That's what she ate. It was swine. It was not good for her, and it killed her. So in the Old Testament, when God starts bringing up animals, he's bringing us right back to a truth that there are things that we listen to and there are things that we don't. And the Bible makes that so clear in the New Testament. Even in the old, both. Where is it? One of y'all help me out. It says, It says, think on these things, and it gives you a list, things that are lovely, things that are kind, things that it says, think on these things. Meaning, if you're not thinking of those things, you're thinking of the opposite. Excuse me. And those thoughts can unalive you. All right, so it's already 2:00. Guys, check it out. We're not done with this. We're going to continue on this journey. I'm going to take you through this journey of palm trees. All this is because we're talking about palm trees. But there's so much other stuff, man, that have to be understood when we're getting to this thing of palm trees where people are for some reason not seeing or whatever. Nobody's smarter than anybody. A person that has a contrite heart can see any of this. They just have to kind of get rid of their Disney characters of the Bible that they have in their head. But again, that's all of us. Nobody's exempt from this. It's so funny when people think they're just so clever. Bro, nobody is clever and figures stuff out in the Bible. That's such a lie. You're not clever. No, what happens is you have to start getting rid of the Disney World characters that you have in your, that there was a physical snake wrapped in a tree and slithering to Eve. You got to get rid of that. The serpent that's being referred to in the Old Testament still is brought up in the New Testament. The serpent is sin itself, not the action of sin, but sin, the iniquity that was found in Lucifer. That's the serpent. They're not two separate things, the same entity. Okay? All right, so everybody simultaneously go ahead and say your goodbyes, man. Oh, man, my bad. I should have put that. Yeah, because I got to go. I got to hop off. Everybody
God
say,
bless.
All right, everybody say bye. We'll see y'all.
God bless. Have a good day.
We'll see y'all. Yeah, we'll see y'all Monday. Yeah, we'll see y'all Monday.
No twofer today? No Frequent Friday?
Man, I don't know. Let me just say this, though. Christian, don't forget where we left off, because you're the one that asked this question. So don't forget where we left off, and we'll pick back up. Right now, we were going through goodly, but we're going to go back to palm trees. So that's where we're going. We're going back to some scriptures that every time, like 90% of the time when palm trees are brought up, there's something else there that helps you. Like, for instance, we're talking about goodly trees and palm branches. All of a sudden, palm trees are put with good trees. So we know that palm trees are goodly in God's eyes. So now we have to follow the palm trees to see how they're being used in other contexts so we can see why Deborah sits under the palm tree of Deborah, right? All right, so guys, we're out. We will see y'all Monday morning. Now, if there is a frequent Friday or a saturated Saturday or a super Sunday, I'll let you know. So God bless. We'll see y'all soon.
God bless.